Imagine waking up to the sound of a rooster crowing, not an alarm clock blaring, no Wi-Fi signal, no coffee machine humming, just the faint clatter of clay pots in a Roman villa. Your bed is a straw mattress, and the air smells of olive oil and fresh-baked bread. It's dawn in the Roman Empire, and life is about to unfold in ways that might feel alien yet oddly familiar. Tonight, we're slipping into the daily rhythms of a Roman villa, where privacy was a luxury and Wi-Fi didn't exist. These stories are crafted to lull you into sleep, each one a gentle step into the past, woven with sensory details and the quiet hum of history. Stay with me, because these tales might just carry you to a dream under Roman stars. Picture a sprawling villa, its whitewashed walls glowing under the morning sun. The courtyard buzzes with life slaves sweeping floors, children chasing a leather ball, and the master of the house scribbling on a wax tablet. Every corner of this home is shared, from the open dining room to the communal latrine. No one has a private bedroom, not even the wealthy. Doors are curtains, and walls are thin. You hear every whisper, every footstep. The Romans didn't mind. They thrived in this closeness, their lives a tapestry of shared moments. But what was it like to live without a moment to yourself? Let's start with the morning routine. A slave pours water from a bronze jug as you splash your face. The water's cold, straight from a no mirrors here, just a polished bronze disc that barely shows your reflection. You dress in a tunic, simple wool for most, or fine linen if you're rich. Breakfast is quick, bread dipped in wine, maybe some olives. The villa wakes slowly, like a sleepy village. Chickens cluck, and a dog barks at a passing cart. Outside, the world is alive with color-red roof tiles, green vineyards, and the distant rumble of Rome's markets. This is your world, and it's both vibrant and relentless. The lack of privacy shapes everything. You're never alone, not even in thought. Every decision, from what to eat to whom to marry, involves the family, the slaves, the neighbors. It's comforting, in a way, but also suffocating. Yet, the Romans found joy in this. They laughed over shared meals, told stories by lamplight, and built a civilization that still echoes today. If this glimpse of Roman.com fascinates you, subscribe now and join this nightly journey through the empire. How many of us will gather under Rome's starry skies? Let's drift deeper. A slave lights an oil lamp as the sun climbs higher. The villa's heart is the atrium, a sunlit room open to the sky, rain or shine. It's where life happens, business deals, gossip, even naps on stone benches. The air carries the scent of rosemary from the garden. You step outside, and the world feels vast yet intimate. The villa isn't just a home, it's a microcosm of Rome itself. Every person has a role, every task a purpose. But how did they manage without the solitude we crave today? That's our first story, and it starts with a woman named Livia, who runs this villa with quiet precision. Her day begins before dawn, checking the grain stores, overseeing the looms, and settling disputes among the slaves. She's the domina, the lady of the house, but her power comes with no privacy. Her every move is watched, judged, admired. Let's follow her step by step into the heart of Roman life. The villa hums with purpose, and we're just getting started. Picture a mosaic floor under your feet, cool and smooth, as we wander through Livia's morning. The sound of a distant flute drifts in, soft and hypnotic. This is history, but it's also a lullaby. Let's keep going, into the routines that shaped a world without Wi-Fi or walls to hide behind. The sun is higher now, casting long shadows across the villa's courtyard. Livia stands by a wooden table, inspecting a basket of figs. Their purple skins glisten, fresh from the orchard. She doesn't eat one, not yet. Her role as domina demands focus. The scent of baking bread wafts from the kitchen, where slaves knead dough with rhythmic thumps. A child runs past, barefoot, giggling as he chases a hoop with a stick. Life in this villa is a constant hum, like bees in a hive. Livia's morning is a dance of duties, each step deliberate. She moves to the storeroom, where clay jars line the walls, filled with olive oil, wine, and garum, that pungent fish sauce Romans loved. The air is cool here, earthy, with attempts of fermentation. She checks the seals on each jar, her fingers tracing the wax. A slave follows, tablet in hand, scribbling notes. There's no room for error. The villa's survival depends on her precision, but there's no door to close, no moment to pause alone. Eyes are always on her slave's children, even the neighbor peering over the wall. This is Rome, a world where solitude is a dream. Livia doesn't mind, or so it seems. She was raised for this, trained since girlhood to manage a household under scrutiny. Her mother taught her to smile through exhaustion, to command without shouting. Yet, there's a flicker of tension in her eyes when a slave spills a jug of water. She corrects him softly, but her hands clench briefly. The villa is her kingdom, but it's also her cage. Let's linger here, in the storeroom's dim light. The walls are painted with vines, a nod to the gods of plenty. A faint breeze carries the scent of lavender from the garden. Livia's tunic brushes the floor as she moves, her sandals clicking on stone. She's not just managing supplies, she's weaving the villa's rhythm. Every decision ripples outward, from the slave's tasks to the master's mood. Her husband Gaius is away in Rome, meeting senators. Without him, her authority is absolute, but it's fragile. One mistake, a spoiled batch of wine, a fire in the kitchen could tarnish her name. Romans gossip fiercely, and news travels fast. Picture the scene. Livia kneels by a jar, sniffing the contents. It's good, sharp, but balanced. She nods, and the slave exhales. The moment passes, but it's a victory. These small wins define her day. The villa thrives because of her, yet she's rarely praised. Her work is invisible, expected. This is the Roman way: duty over self. But what happens when duty clashes with desire? Livia's not immune to dreams. She longs to visit the baths, to soak in warm water and hear only silence. But the villa calls, always. A slave approaches, timid, reporting a broken loom. Livia rises, her face all calm but her mind racing. The loom means cloth, cloth means trade, trade means coin. She fixed this, as she fixes everything. The courtyard awaits, bright and noisy. A cart rumbles past, loaded with Somewhere, a woman sings, her voice low and soothing. This villa is alive, and Livia is its pulse. Let's follow her outside, where the day's challenges are just beginning. The air is warm now, and the scent of dust mingles with flowers. A mosaic of Neptune glitters on the wall, its colors fading but proud. This is Livia's world, and we're walking through it, step by sleepy step. Livia steps into the courtyard where the sun burns brighter now. A slave sweeps the mosaic floor, the bristles scratching softly against stone. The air smells of warm earth and crushed herbs, time, maybe, from the garden nearby. A fountain trickles in the center, its water catching light like scattered coins. Livia pauses just for a moment to watch a sparrow bathe in the basin. It's a fleeting escape, a second of stillness in a day that won't stop. The villa is a machine, and she's its engine. Around her life pulses. Two slaves carry a basket of laundry, their chatter low but constant. A child, her daughter Claudia, practices writing on a wax tablet, scratching letters with a stylus. The girl's tongue pokes out in focus, unaware of her mother's gaze. Livia smiles, but there's no time to linger. A merchant waits at the gate, his donkey laden with clay pots. He's here to barter, and Livia must haggle. She adjusts her stola, the long dress that marks her status, and walks toward him. Her steps are measured, her voice steady. The merchant bows, but his eyes are sharp. This is Rome. Respect is a game, and everyone's playing. The negotiation begins over a table in the shade. The merchant offers pots for wool, but Livia knows the market. His pots are plain, not the fine red gloss kind from Gaul. She counters with half the wool he wants, throwing in a jar of honey. He laughs, but she doesn't budge. The slaves watch, pretending to work. Her authority is on display, and she knows it. The deal closes with a handshake, and the merchant leaves, grumbling but satisfied. Livia's won, but there's no time to savor it. A slave rushes up, whispering about a sick goat. The herd is small but vittle milk, cheese, and sacrifices depend on it. She heads to the stable, where the air is thick with hay and manure. The goat lies on straw, bleeding weakly. Livia kneels, her hands gentle but firm, checking its eyes and hooves. She's no farmer, but she's learned enough to know it's not plague. A slave brings mint and water, and they force the goat to drink. It's a small crisis, but every crisis matters. The villa's balance is delicate, and Livia is its keeper. Picture her now, wiping sweat from her brow. Her stola is dusty, but she doesn't care. The sun is at its peak, and the courtyard hums with midday energy. A slave grinds grain, the millstone creaking. Another weaves at a loom, the shuttle clicking like a metronome. These sounds blend into a lullaby, steady and familiar. Livia moves to the kitchen, where lunch is being prepared. The scent of roasted fish and dill fills the air. She tastes the sauce, nods, and suggests more cumin. The cook, a freed woman named Marcia, grins. They shared a moment, two women bound by the villa's endless needs. But even here, Livia is not alone. Slaves linger, waiting for orders. Privacy is a myth, and she's long accepted it. The meal will be served in the triclinium, the dining room where everyone reclines together, family, guests, even favorite slaves. It's a ritual of unity, but also a stage. Every word, every gesture is seen. Livia's life is this balanced public and private blurred into one. The day rolls on, and we're rolling with it into the heat of a Roman afternoon. A breeze stirs the vines, and a distant bell chimes. Let's keep drifting deeper into the villa's heartbeat. As the sun dips low, the villa transforms. Lamps flicker to life, their oil-soaked wicks casting a warm glow. The air cools, carrying the scent of pine from the hills. Livia walks through the courtyard, her sandals whispering on stone. Slaves are busy now, preparing the triclinium for dinner. They carry cushions, arrange low tables, and sweep the floor's mosaic a scene of dolphins leaping through waves. The room feels alive, almost sacred. Dinner in a Roman villa is more than a meal. It's a ritual, a stage where status and alliances are forged. Livia's guests tonight are a neighboring couple, Lucius and Flavia, whose landboard is hers. They're friendly but ambitious, eyeing Gaius's influence in Rome. Livia must be gracious yet guarded. She checks the menu: roasted lamb, lentils with coriander, and honeyed figs. The wine is from their own vines, a point of pride. She tastes it, nodding at its smooth finish. The kitchen is a flurry of heat and noise pots clanging, slaves shouting orders. Marcia, the cook, wipes sweat from her brow, her hands dusted with flour. Livia offers a quiet word of praise, and Marcia beams. These moments of connection keep the villa's heart beating, but there's no hiding here. The triclinium's walls are open to the courtyard and slaves linger nearby, ready to serve. Every laugh, every glance is public. Livia is used to it, but tonight she feels the weight. Lucius is a talker, and his questions about Gaius's business are never innocent. She deflected with charm. As always, picture the scene. Guests arrive, their togas crisp and perfumed. They recline on couches, propped on elbows, as slaves pour wine. The lamps cast shadows, making the dolphins on the floor seem to swim. Conversation flows gossip about a senator's scandal, complaints about rising grain prices. Livia listens, her smile steady. She steers the talk to neutral ground, praising Flavia's new necklace. The food arrives, and the room hums with approval. The lamb is tender, the figs sweet. A slave plays a lyre in the corner, the notes soft as a lyre. This is Rome at its finest: abundance, elegance, connection. But beneath it there's tension. Lucius probes again, asking about Gaius's plans. Livia answers vaguely, her voice calm but firm. She's a master at this, balancing warmth and distance. The meal stretches late, and the air grows heavy with wine and heat. Slaves clear plates, their movements silent but precise. Livia's daughter, Claudia, joins, briefly reciting a poem she learned. The guests clap, and Livia's pride is real but fleeting. She's already thinking of tomorrow market day. More accounts, another go-to check. The villa never sleeps, not really. As the guests leave, the courtyard is quiet, save for the fountain's trickle. Livia stands alone for a moment, staring at the stars. The night is cool, the world still. But even now, a slave watches from the shadows, waiting for her next order. Privacy remains a dream. Let's pause here. In the villa's soft glow, the lyre's final notes fade, and the lamps burn low. We're sinking deeper into Rome's rhythm, where every moment is shared, every story a thread in the empire's vast tapestry. The night is young, and there's more to explore. The afternoon sun bathes the villa in gold, softening the edges of the stone walls. Livia sits in the shade of a fig tree, a rare moment to breathe. The leaves rustle above her, and the air carries the sweet scent of ripening fruit. A slave hands her a cup of watered wine, cool from the cellar. She sips, letting the tartness linger on her tongue. Around her, the villa slows, caught in the midday haze. Slaves nap in corners, their brooms idle. Claudia, her daughter, lies on a bench, reading a scroll of poetry. The girl's voice is a soft murmur, reciting verses about nymphs and rivers. It's a peaceful scene, but peace is fleeting. Livia's mind is already on the next task. The accounts. She moves to the tablinum, the office where wax tablets and scrolls are piled high. The room is open to the atrium, so voices drift in, slaves arguing over a spilled bucket. A dog yelps. Privacy is impossible, but Livia's focus is iron. She scans the tablets, her finger tracing rows of numbers. Grain, wool, wine, every transaction is recorded. The villa's wealth is modest but steady, enough to keep Gaius respected in Rome. But there's a problem. A shipment of oil is late, and the merchant's excuse is flimsy. Livia's jaw tightens. Trust is rare in trade, and she's learned to doubt. She writes a letter, her stylus scratching wax. The words are polite but firm, demanding delivery by the next market day. A slave will carry it to Rome at dawn. The task done, she leans back, rubbing her temples. The air is warm, heavy with the scent of ink and dust. Outside, the courtyard stirs again. A slave polishes a bronze lamp, its surface gleaming like a small sun. Another waters the herbs, the soil drinking greedily. These small acts keep the villa alive, and Livia oversees them all. But the lack of privacy wears on her. She hears every cough, every laugh. Even now a neighbor's wife calls over the wall, asking for a recipe. Livia answers with a smile, but her patience frays. She dreams of a locked door, a silent room. The Romans didn't build those. Their world was open, communal, a web of eyes and ears. Yet there's beauty in it. The villa's life is shared, its burdens collective. When a slave's child falls ill, Livia sends for a healer. When a harvest is bountiful, everyone feasts. This is the Roman way: togetherness over solitude. Picture Livia now, standing in the tablinum's doorway. Her stola glows in the fading light, and her hair is pinned with a bronze clip. She's tired but resolute. The day's not over. Dinner looms, a formal affair with guests from a nearby villa. She hosts, charm, and negotiate, all while the household watches. The triclinium will be lit with lamps, their flames dancing on painted walls. The scent of roasted lamb and rosemary will fill the air. It's a moment of pride, but also pressure. Every dish, every word, reflects her skill. Let's linger here. As the villa prepares for evening, a slave tunes a lyre. Its notes, soft and haunting. The fountains still trickle to steady heartbeat. The world is slowing, and so are we, drifting deeper into Rome's quiet corners. The day's heat is fading, and the night is calling. The stars glitter above the villa, a canopy of light in a world without streets. Livia lingers in the courtyard, her breath visible in the cool night air. The scent of extinguished lamps lingers, a faint smokiness mixing with lavender from the garden. The villa is quieter now, but never silent. A slave sweeps the triclinium, the broom's bristles a soft whisper. Another carries a jug to the cistern, its clay-scraping stone. Livia's day isn't over. She moves to the lararium, a small shrine in the atrium. Here clay figures of the household gods Lares and Peanuts. She offers a pinch of spelt, murmuring a prayer for protection. The act is simple but vital. The gods are part of the villa's pulse. The air feels heavier here, as if the spirits listen. Romans believed their homes were alive, watched by ancestors and deities. Livia feels it too, a weight of duty that never lifts. She's the domina, but she serves the gods as much as the household. The lack of privacy extends even to worship. Slaves pass by, their eyes lowered but curious. Nothing is hidden. Let's picture her now, kneeling by the shrine. Her stola pools on the floor, and a single lamp casts her shadow on the wall. The flame flickers, and the air is cool, tinged with incense. She rises, her joints stiff from the day's work. The villa is settling, but her mind hums. Tomorrow brings market day, where she barter for grain and cloth. It's a chance to leave the villa, but not to escape. The market is a stage, and Livia must perform gracious, shrewd, untouchable. She's learned to navigate its chaos, but it's exhausting. The thought of it stirs a rare pang of longing. She imagines a day alone, walking the hills, hearing only wind and birds. But Rome doesn't allow such things. Duty binds her, and the villa's eyes never close. The courtyard is empty now, save for a cat slinking past. Its eyes glow in the dark, and Livia smiles. Even the animals are part of this shared life. She heads to her cubiculum, the sleeping room she shares with Gaius. It's not private curtains, not doors, separated from the atrium. Claudia sleeps nearby, her breath soft. Livia lies on the straw mattress, the wool blanket rough but warm. Sleep is close, but her mind lingers on the day. The sick goat, the merchant's pots. Lucius's questions, they swirl like leaves in a stream. This is her life, a cycle of care and vigilance. Yet, there's comfort in it. The villa's rhythm is her rhythm, its people, her family, even the slaves. They're bound by survival, by Rome's unyielding rules. If these stories of Rome are lulling your mind, click subscribe. It's free, and the Empire has more secrets to share. Let's drift further into the night's quiet embrace. The villa sleeps, but its stories don't. Picture a mosaic of stars above, their light faint but eternal. The air is still, and the world feels vast. We're walking through Rome's shadows, where every corner holds a tale. The fountain's trickle fades, and a distant owl hoots. This is history, soft and steady, pulling us deeper into sleep's gentle tide. The first light of dawn creeps into the villa, painting the walls a pale pink. Livia wakes to the sound of a slave stoking the kitchen fire, the crackle of wood faint but distinct. The air is crisp, smelling of dew and charcoal. She rises, her tunic creased from sleep, and splashes her face with water from a clay basin. The cold shocks her awake, but there's no time to linger. Today is market day, and the villa hums with purpose. Slaves load a cart with wool and oil, their voices low to avoid waking Claudia. Livia checks the bundos, her fingers brushing the coarse wool. Everything must be perfect. The market is unforgiving. But there's a problem. The cart's wheel is cracked, noticed only now in the dim light. Livia's stomach tightens. A delay could mean missing the best buyers, and the villa needs coin for winter grain. She calls for a slave, a burly man named Titus, who knows woodwork. He kneels by the wheel, muttering about shoddy repairs. Livia stays calm, her voice steady. They'll use the spare cart, but it's smaller, so they'll carry less. It's a loss, but better than none. Titus nods, already unhitching the donkey. This is Rome. Problems arise, and you adapt. Livia's learned this the hard way. The market is a 3-mile walk, and she'll lead the group herself. The road is dusty, bordered by olive groves and crumbling tombs. The air warms as they set out, the scent of wild mint rising underfoot. Slaves carry baskets, their steps heavy but sure. Livia walks ahead, her stola catching the breeze. The lack of privacy follows her. Even here passers-by nod, their eyes lingering. She's the Domina, figure of respect, but also curiosity. Rumors swirl about Gaius's ambitions, and Livia feels their weight. The market looms a chaos of stalls and shouts. Picture it. Wooden booths piled with figs, fish, and bolts of cloth. Merchants hawk their wares. Their voices hoarse. The air is thick with smells roasted meat, sweat, and the briny tang of Livia's group sets up near a fountain. It splashes small relief. She arranges the wool, her hands quick but precise. Bias approach, their togas stained from travel. The haggling begins, and Livia's voice is firm. A man offers too little. She counters with a smile, but her eyes are steel. He relents, and coins clink into her pouch. It's a small victory, but the day is long. The cracked wheel costs them, and every sale matters. By noon, the sun is brutal, and Livia's throat is dry. A slave hands her a cup of watered wine, and she drinks deeply. The market's noise is relentless. Donkeys bray, children shriek. A flute player drones nearby. There's no escape, no quiet corner. This is the Roman world, where solitude is a luxury even the rich can't afford. Livia pushes on bartering for grain and cloth. Each deal is a test. Each coin a step towards survival. But there's danger here too. Pickpockets weave through the crowd, and a careless moment could cost her everything. She keeps one hand on her pouch, her eyes scanning. The villa's needs drive her, but so does pride. She's Livia Domina of a respected house, and she won't falter. Let's linger in the market's chaos, where every sound and smell pulls us deeper. The fountain bubbles, and a breeze carries a scent of fresh bread. We're walking with Livia through a world that never pauses, yet somehow soothes. The market's din grows louder as the sun climbs higher. Livia stands by her stall, a bolt of wool in her hands, its texture rough but warm. The air is heavy with dust and the sharp scent of herbs: coriander, fennel, mint. A crowd presses in, their voices a jumble of Latin and Greek. A woman haggles over a jar of oil, her baby wailing on her hip. Livia listens, her face calm but her mind sharp. She lowers the price slightly, just enough to close the deal. The woman leaves, and Livia tucks the coins away. But there's no time to rest. A shout erupts nearby. A thief caught stealing apples now dragged off by a burly merchant. The crowd jeers and Livia tenses. Markets are vibrant but volatile. A wrong word, a stray spark, and chaos could erupt. She signals Titus to stay close, his bulk a quiet deterrent. The villa's goods are precious, and she's seen stalls robbed in broad daylight. This is Rome's underbelly, opportunity laced with risk. Livia's no stranger to it. She's navigated markets since she was Claudia's age, learning to spot a cheat or a liar. But today, the stakes feel higher. The cracked wheel cut their load, and Gaius will ask why the profits are thin. She pushes the thought aside, focusing on a new buyer. He's a freedman, his tunic patched but clean, wanting wool for his wife's loom. Livia offers a fair price, and he smiles, grateful. These moments, small and human, keep her going. Yet, the lack of privacy gnaws at her. Eyes are everywhere: merchants, slaves, even the fountains, loiterers. They watch her haggle, judge her poise. She hears a whisper about Gaius's debts, and her jaw tightens. Rumors are a market's currency, as dangerous as any thief. She straightens, her stole crisp despite the dust. She won't give them fuel. By mid-afternoon, the heat is stifling. Livia's sandals are caked with dirt, and sweat beads on her brow. A slave brings her a fig, its sweetness a brief relief. She eats standing, her eyes scanning the crowd. The stall is nearly empty. Wool and oil sold, grain and cloth bought. It's a good day, but not great. The wheel's shadow lingers. She need explain it to Gaius, and he's not one for excuses. The thought stirs a flicker of dread, but she buries it. There's still work to do. A final buyer approaches, a wealthy matron with gold pins in her hair. She wants oil, but only the best. Livia offers a sample, its scent rich and green. The matron nods, and the deal is struck. Coins change hands, heavy and cool. It's a win, but Livia's tired. The market's energy is draining, its noise a weight. She longs for the villa's courtyard, the fountain's soft trickle. But the day's not done. The cart must be loaded, the road home walked. Picture her now, directing slaves as they pack. The sun dips, painting the stalls orange. A flute plays, its notes faint but steady. The market thins, but dangers linger: drunkards, stray dogs, uneven stones. Livia's vigilance holds, but it's a strain. This is Rome. Survival demands focus, even in triumph. Let's walk with her through the fading light, where every step is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The market's chaos fades as Livia leads her group toward home. The road stretches ahead, dusty and rutted, flanked by cypress trees swaying in the evening breeze. The air smells of dry grass and distant smoke, a hint of autumn's approach. The cart creaks under its load: sacks of grain, bolts of cloth, a few new pots. Titus walks beside the donkey, his hand steady on the reins. Livia's steps are slower now, her sandals heavy with dust. The day's weight settles in her bones, but her mind is alert. The road isn't safe at dusk. Bandits are rare but real, and a lone cart is tempting. She glances at the slaves, their faces tired but loyal. They trust her, and she carries that responsibility like a cloak. The lack of privacy follows them even here. A passing farmer nods, his eyes curious. To women by a well whisper as Liv grew passes, she hears her name or thinks she does. In Rome, reputation is everything, and Livius is tied to the villa's success. A bad market day could spark gossip, and gossip could reach Gaius. She straightens her stola, catching the fading light. Let them talk, she prove them wrong. But there's a new problem. The donkey stumbles, its hoof catching a stone. Titus curses softly, kneeling to check. The hoof is bruised, not broken, but the pace slows. Livia's jaw tightens. They're still a mile from home, and night is falling. She urges the group on, her voice calm but firm. The slaves obey, though their steps drag, their air cools, and a cricket's chirp rises, sharp and rhythmic. Picture the scene. The cart's wheels grind against the road, kicking up dust that glows in the twilight. Livia walks ahead, her shadow long and thin. The villa's walls are a distant smudge, promising rest but not yet close. Her mind churns. Did she barter well? Will the grain last? What will Gaius say? These questions are her constant companions, amplified by the road's quiet. There's no escaping them, no private corner to think. Even now, Titus glances at her, waiting for orders. She nods, and he pushes the donkey forward. This is her life, leading, always leading with eyes on her back. But there's beauty in this moment. The sky is a deep purple, streaked with gold. A star appears, faint but steady. The world feels vast, and Livia's place in it, however small, is hers. She draws strength from that. The villa comes into view, its lamps glowing like fireflies. Claudia runs to meet them, her laughter a bright note in the dusk. Livia's heart lifts, but the day is not done. The goods must be stored, the donkey fed, the slaves dismissed, and then the accounts. Gaius will want a report, and Livia's numbers must be flawless. She's faced worse floods, sick slaves, bad harvests, but the pressure never fades. This is Rome. Survival is a daily fight, even for the demeanor. Let's pause here, on the road's edge, where the villa beckons. The air is cool, the crickets loud, a lamp flickers in the distance, and the world slows. We're walking through Rome's twilight, where every challenge is a story, every step a lullaby pulling us closer to sleep. The villa's gate creaks as Livia's group enters, the sound sharp in the evening hush. The courtyard welcomes them, its fountain trickling softly, a familiar heartbeat. The air smells of warm stone and rosemary, a contrast to the road's dust. Lamps cast a golden glow, and Claudia clings to Livia's stola, chattering about her day. Livia listens, her smile tired but real. The slaves unload the cart, their movements slow but steady. Sacks of grain are carried to the storeroom, cloth stacked in the weaving room. Titus leads the donkey to the stable, its bruised hoof needing rest. Livia oversees it all, her presence a quiet command. But there's a problem. The grain sacks are lighter than expected. One merchant shorted her, and she didn't notice in the market's chaos. Her fingers tighten around her pouch. It's a small loss, but it stings. Gaius will notice, and his temper is sharp. She could blame the merchant, but that risks her reputation for shrewdness. This is Rome. Mistakes aren't private. Slaves talk and word spreads. Livia's mind races for a solution. She'll sell an extra jar of oil to cover it, maybe two. The accounts will balance, and Gaius will be none the wiser. But the effort weighs on her. There's no room to falter, no moment to rest unseen. Even now, a slave watches her, waiting for orders. She nods, and he hurries off. The courtyard empties and Livia heads to the tablinum. The air is cooler here, tinged with ink and wax. She lights a lamp, its flame steadying her. The wax tablets, wait, their numbers are puzzles she must solve. She scratches out the day's trades wool sold, grain bought, cloth bartered. The shorted grain gnaws at her, but she adjusts the figures. Her style is precise. It's dishonest, but survival demands it. In Rome, honor bends to necessity. Picture her now, hunched over the tablets. Her stola is dusty, her hair loose from its pins. The lamp casts shadows, making the room feel smaller, almost intimate, but it's not. The atrium is steps away, and slaves pass through, their footsteps soft but constant. Claudia's voice drifts in, practicing her letters. Livia's heart aches for a moment alone, a chance to breathe without eyes on her. But that's not her world. The villa is a stage, and she's always performing. The account's done. She leans back, her neck stiff. The night is deep now, the villa quiet but alive. A slave polishes a bronze jug, its surface gleaming. Another mends a tunic, the needle's rhythm hypnotic. These small acts are the villa's pulse, and Livia keeps it beating. But the lack of privacy is a constant pressure. Every choice, every error, is seen. She's learned to hide her doubts, to smile through strain. It's a skill, but it's exhorting. Tomorrow brings new challenges, a guest from Rome, a loom to fix, the goat's health to check. Livia's ready, or she tells herself she is. The gods watch, the slaves watch, Rome watches. She closes the tablet, the wax smoothing under her thumb. The lamp flickers, and the air is still. Let's linger here, in the tablinum's glow, where Livia carries the villa's weight. The fountain murmurs outside, and a cricket sings. We're on, sinking deeper into Rome's rhythm, where every task is a story, every moment a step toward sleep. The lamp in the tablinum burns low, its oil nearly spent. Livia rises, her shadow stretching across the wall. The air is cool now, heavy with the scent of wax and earth. She steps into the atrium, where the fountain's trickle blends with the night's quiet. A slave dozes by the lararium, his broom propped against the wall. Livia doesn't wake him. The villa is settling, but her work lingers. She moves to the cubiculum, where Claudia sleeps, her breath soft and even. The curtain sways in the breeze, offering no real barrier. Livia lies beside her, the straw mattress creaking. Sleep is close, but her mind churns. The shorted grain, the bruised donkey, Gaius's expectations, they circle like vultures. In Rome, rest is earned, and Livia's not there yet. But there's a deeper problem. The villa's water supply is faltering. The cistern, fed by an aqueduct, is lower than it should be. A dry summer and a cracked pipe are to blame. Livia noticed it yesterday, but market day pushed it aside. Now, it's urgent. Water is life: cooking, bathing, the garden's herbs. Without it, the villa stalls. She'll need to hire a plumber, a rare skill and costly. The coins from the market might not stretch that far. She could delay, but that risks the slave's health, the villa's rhythm. This is Rome. Crises don't wait. Livia's mind traces solutions. She could trade wool for the repair, or borrow from Lucius, though his help comes with strings. Her pride resists, but survival might demand it. The lack of privacy complicates things. Slaves will notice the plumber. Neighbors will ask questions. A struggling villa is gossip's fuel, and Livia's reputation is fragile. She closes her eyes, willing sleep, but the fountain's trickle reminds her of the cistern. Picture her now, lying in the dim cubiculum. Her stola is folded nearby, her hair unpinned. The air is still tinged with lavender from the garden. Claudia SDRs murmuring in her sleep. Livia's hand rests on her daughter's arm. A small anchor. Livia feels vast yet suffocating. Its needs endless. There's no door to lock, no silence to claim. Even her thoughts feel watched, judged by the gods, the ancestors, Rome itself. But Livia is not alone in this. Every domina faces these battles: water, coin, reputation. It's a shared struggle, and that binds her to the empire's rhythm. She draws strength from it, even now. The night deepens, and the villa's sounds fade. A creaking shutter, a distant dog. Livia's breathing slows, sleep creeping closer. Tomorrow she'll face the cistern, the plumber, the neighbors. She'll smile, barter, endure. It's what she does. This is the Roman way: duty over desire, community over self. The gods watch, and so do we, drifting through her world. Let's pause here, in the cubiculum's quiet, where Livia's burdens soften. The fountain's murmur is a lullaby. The stars a distant glow. We're sinking deeper into Rome's shadows, where every worry is a story, every breath a step toward sleep's gentle embrace. Dawn breaks softly, the villa stirring under a pale sky. Livia wakes to the scent of fresh bread, the kitchen already alive. The air is cool, tinged with dew and wood smoke. She rises, her tunic simple but clean, and splashes her face with water less than yesterday, a reminder of the cistern's trouble. Claudia still sleeps, her wax tablet clutched like a toy. Livia smiles, but her mind is on the plumber. He's due today, a man named Quintus, known for his skill but not his patience. She need to barter carefully, and that means facing the villa's finances again. The market's coins are in a locked chest, but they're stretched thin. Livia moves to the tablinum where the wax tablets wait. The air is still, the lamp cold from last night. She opens the chest, counting coins. By touch bronze, silver, a few gold. It's not enough for Quintus's fee, not outright. She could offer wool, but the best is gone. Sold yesterday. Oil then, or wine. Quintus likes his drink, and a good vintage might sway him. But there's a catch. The wine is Gaius's pride, reserved for guests. Using it risks his anger, and Livia knows his moods. This is Rome. Every choice is a gamble, and none are private. Slaves will see the jars moved, and tongues will wag. She decides to risk it, but her stomach knots. Picture her now, kneeling by the chest. Her hair is pinned tightly, her stola crisp despite the early hour. The atrium hums beyond the curtain. Slaves sweeping, a rooster crowing. Livia's alone. But not really. Eyes are everywhere, even in her thoughts. She closes the chest, the lock clicking sharply. Quintus will arrive soon, and she needs to prepare. She heads to the storeroom where the wine jars are sealed with wax. The air is cool, earthy, with a faint sweetness. She chooses 2 jars, their vintage marked in charcoal. It's a bold move, but necessary. The cistern must be fixed, or the villa falters. She calls Titus, instructing him to ready the jars, but say nothing. He nods, his face unreadable. Loyalty is vital, but even Titus gossips. Livia's learned to trust sparingly. The morning unfolds, and Quintus arrives, his tools clinking in a leather bag. He's gruff, his tunic stained with clay. Livia greets him in the courtyard, her smile warm but measured. The slaves watch, pretending to work. She offers the wine, and Quintus's eyes gleam. He agrees to the job, but only after inspecting the cistern. It's worse than Livia feared, a deep crack, leaking steadily. The repair will take days, and Quintus wants more wine. Livia's heart sinks, but she nods. This is survival, and she's played this game before. The courtyard buzzes as Quintus works. His hammers clang, echoing. Slaves carry water from a neighbor's well, their buckets sloshing. The lack of privacy as stark neighbors peer over the wall, asking about the noise. Livia deflects with charm, but her patience thins. This is Rome. Your struggles are everyone's entertainment. Let's linger here, by the cistern's edge, where Livia balances need and pride. The fountain's trickle is gone, but a bird sings nearby. Its notes, soft and steady, were drifting through Rome's challenges, where every task is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The sun climbs higher, warming the villa's courtyard. Quintus hammers at the cistern, his blows steady but loud. The air smells of wet clay and dust, a sharp contrast to the garden's lavender. Livia stands nearby, her stola catching flecks of dirt. Slaves move around her, carrying buckets from the neighbor's well. Their steps are heavy, their faces tight. Water is heavy, and the trek is long. Livia feels their strain, but she can't pause. The villa's rhythm depends on her. Claudia runs past, chasing a butterfly, her laughter a brief light in attention. Livia calls her back, gently, to practice her writing. Duty starts young in Rome, but there's a new problem. Quintus stops, wiping sweat from his brow. The crack is deeper than he thought, reaching the aqueduct's pipe. Fixing it means digging up the courtyard, ruining the dolphin mosaic. Livia's heart sinks. The mosaic is old, a gift from Gaius's father. Destroying it will anger him, maybe enough to shame her publicly. But there's no choice. Water is life. She nods, her voice steady, and Quintus grunts, grabbing a shovel. The slaves exchange glances. They know the mosaic's value, and they'll talk. Gossip will spread, and Livia's name will carry the blame. This is Rome. Your choices are never yours alone. Picture the scene. Quintus digs, the mosaic's tiles splintering under his blade. Blues and green scatter, dolphins broken into shards. Livia watches, her face calm but her hands clenched. The air is thick with dust, and the hammer's clang mixes with the slaves' murmurs. A neighbor leans over the wall, her voice loud with fake concern. Livia answers politely, but her words are clipped. Privacy is a myth, and today it stings. She moves to the tablinum, needing a moment to think. The air is cooler here, but the wax tablets offer no comfort. The wine for Quintus was a gamble, and now the mosaic's loss adds weight. Gaius will return tomorrow, and she'll need to explain. She could lie, blame Quintus, but that risks his wrath if the truth slips. Honesty is safer, but harder. She scratches a note, her stylus trembling. Slightly, the villa survival comes first, always. Back in the courtyard, the work continues. Quintus exposes the pipe, its clay cracked like old bone. He'll need more time, more wine. Livia agrees, her voice firm but tired. The slaves watch, their buckets still sloshing. Claudia sits nearby, scratching letters, unaware of the stakes. Livia envies her innocence, but only for a moment. There's no time for sentiment. The day rolls on, and the villa's pulse falters but holds. The lack of privacy is a constant pressure. Every shovel's strike, every broken tile, is a story for the neighbors. Livia's learned to endure it, but today it's a weight. She dreams of a quiet room, a locked door. But Rome doesn't build those. The gods watch, the slaves watch, the world watches. Let's pause here, amid the courtyard's dust, where Livia carries the villa's fate. A breeze stirs the lavender, and a distant flute plays, its notes soft and haunting. We're sinking deeper into Rome's struggles, where every loss is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The courtyard is a mess now, the dolphin mosaic reduced to rubble. Quintus kneels by the exposed pipe, his hands caked with clay. The air smells of damp earth and sweat, the sun high and unforgiving. Livia stands at the edge, her stola stained with dust. Slaves haul dirt, their buckets scraping stone. The fountain is silent, a stark reminder of the cistern's failure. Claudia sits in the shade, her wax tablet forgotten, watching the chaos. Livia's heart aches for her daughter's confusion, but there's no time to explain. A new problem emerges. Quintus needs a special sealant, a mix of pitch and lime, to mend the pipe. It's not in the villa's stores, and the nearest supplier is in Rome, a day's journey. Livia's mind races. Sending a slave risks delay, and buying locally means inflated prices. The coins are already stretched, and Gaius's return looms. She could borrow from Lucius, but his favors come with expectations, land, influence, or worse. This is Rome. Every solution breeds a new risk. Livia chooses the local market, sending Titus with a handful of coins. He's reliable, but the task is urgent, and the road is busy. She watches him go, her jaw tight. The slaves notice, their eyes sharp. They sense her strain, and whispers will follow. Privacy is impossible, even in crisis. The neighbors are bolder. Now, two women lingering by the gate, their voices loud with gossip. Livia hears mosaic and waste, and her cheeks burn. She forces a smile, offering them watered wine. They accept, but their eyes judge. This is the villa's vulnerability, laid bare. Picture the scene. Quintus patches the pipe with temporary clay, his grunts mixing with the slave's steps. The courtyard is a wound, its beauty scarred. Livia moves among them, her voice calm but firm, directing tasks. She's the domina, and she must hold the center, but inside, she's fraying. The mosaic's loss, the sealant's cost. Gaius's anger pile like stones. She longs for a moment alone, a chance to scream or cry, but the villa's eyes never close. Even Claudia watches, her small face serious. Livia kneels beside her, explaining the pipe in simple words. The girl nods, and Livia's pride flickers. She's raising a domina, but at what cost? The day grinds on, and Titus returns, his pouch lighter but the sealant secured. Quintus sets to work, the pitch's sharp scent cutting through the dust. The repair is slow, precise, and the slaves slow their pace. Sensing progress, Livia checks the storeroom, ensuring the wine for Quintus is ready. It's a bitter trade, but necessary. The villa's rhythm is fragile, and she's its keeper. The lack of privacy is a constant. Slaves' neighbors, even the gods, watching her every move. She's learned to bear it, but today it's a chain. The sun dips, and the courtyard glows orange. A slave lights a lamp, its flame a small hope. Let's linger here, where Livia fights for the villa's survival. A bird calls, its notes soft and clear. The air cools, and the world slows. We're drifting through Rome's trials, where every effort is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The sun sinks low, painting the villa's walls a soft amber. Quintus seals the pipe, his hands steady as he spreads the pitch. The air is thick with its sharp resinous scent, mingling with the courtyard's dust. Livia watches her stole heavy with grime. The slaves are quieter now, their buckets still as the cistern begins to fill. A faint trickle echoes, the first sign of success. Claudia claps, her small voice bright in the evening's hush. Livia smiles, but her relief is tempered. The mosaic is gone, the wine depleted, and Gaius arrives tomorrow. The villa's pulse is steady, but the cost was high. A new problem lingers. The neighbor's gossip has spread. Livia hears it from a slave who overheard talk at the well. They call her careless, wasting Gaius's legacy on a broken pipe. The words sting, sharper than the dust in her eyes. In Rome, reputation is currency, and Livia's is bruised. She could confront the neighbors, but that risks escalation. Silence is safer, but it chokes her. She chooses work instead, directing slaves to clean the courtyard. They sweep the broken tiles, their brooms a soft rhythm. The lack of privacy is suffocating. Every move is seen, every whisper heard. Even now a slave glances at her, his eyes curious. Livia's face is a mask, but her heart races. She's the domina, but she's human. Picture the scene. The courtyard glows with lamplight, the cisterns trickle growing stronger. Quintus packs his tools. Satisfied with his work, Livia hands him the wine jars. Her voice steady but her hands tight. He nods, leaving with a grunt. The slaves finish sweeping, and the courtyard feels raw, its beauty scarred. Claudia runs to Livia, asking about the dolphins. Livia kneels, promising a new mosaic someday. The lie is gentle, but it hurts. The villa's funds are thin, and Gaius prioritizes coin over art. The night deepens, and Livia moves to the tablet. The air is cool, the wax tablets waiting. She records the day's cost as sealant, wine Quintus's fee. The numbers are grim, but the cistern is fixed. It's a victory, but a costly one. She faced Gaius tomorrow, her explanation ready. He'll be angry, but she endured. This is Rome. Survival demands resilience, even when the world watches. The atrium is quiet, save for the fountain's faint return. A slave polishes a lamp, its bronze gleaming. Another mends a basket, the reeds creaking softly. These sounds are the villa's heartbeat, and Livia keeps it alive. But the gossip lingers, a shadow she can't shake. She dreams of a day without judgment, a room where no one sees. But Rome doesn't allow it. The gods watch, the slaves watch, the neighbors watch. She closes the tablet, the wax smooth under her thumb. The lamp flickers, and the air is still. Let's pause here, in the tablinum's glow, where Livia carries the villa's scars. The fountain's murmur returns, a lullaby in the night. A star shines through the skylight, faint but steady. We're sinking deeper into Rome's burdens, where every triumph is a story, every sound a step toward sleep's gentle tide. The first light of morning filters through the villa's atrium, soft and golden. Livia wakes to the fountain's steady trickle, a sound she'd missed. The air is fresh, scented with dew and the faint smoke of the kitchen fire. She rises, her tunic clean but her mind heavy. Gaius returns today, and the courtyard scars the shattered mosaic. The swept tiles will greet him. The cistern is fixed, but the cost was steep, and Livia knows his temper. She splashes her face with water, now plentiful, and feels a flicker of pride. The villa breathes because of a rat. But pride is fragile in Rome, where every victory is scrutinized. She moves to the courtyard where slaves are already at work. They sweep the last of the dust. Their brooms a quiet rhythm. Claudia runs past, her laughter bright as she chases a hoop. Livia calls her to help in the garden, a small task to teach duty. The herbs need tending: rosemary, thyme, mint, and their scent rises as Livia kneels beside her daughter. The act is calming, grounding, but the day's tension looms. Gaius's cart will arrive by noon, and Livia must be ready. She's prepared her explanation, but words feel thin against his judgment. The lack of privacy sharpens the stakes. Slaves will watch their meeting. Neighbors will listen from the walls. Every gesture, every tone, will be a story. Livia learned to perform, but today it's a strain. Picture the scene. The courtyard glows under the morning sun, the fountain's spray catching light. A slave polishes a bronze jug, its surface gleaming. Another weaves at a loom. The shuttles click steady and hypnotic. Livia stands, brushing dirt from her stola. The garden is lush, a small triumph amid the chaos, but the broken mosaic is a wound, and Gaius will see it first. She could hide it with rugs, but that's a coward's move, and Livia's no coward. She'll face him, head high, and explain. The cistern flows, the villa lives, that's her defense. By mid-morning the air warms, and the villa hums with purpose. Livia checks the storeroom, ensuring the remaining wine is secure. The loss of jars to Quintus stings, but it was necessary. She moves to the tablinum, reviewing the accounts. The numbers are tight but balanced. She's done her duty, even if Gaius won't see it. A slave announces his cart, and Livia's heart quickens. She steps into the courtyard, her stola crisp, her hair pinned. The slaves pause, their eyes flicking to her. This is Rome. Every moment is a stage, and Livia's the lead. Gaius enters, his toga dusty from travel. His eyes land on the courtyard, and his jaw tightens. Livia greets him, her voice calm but firm. The confrontation begins, and the villa holds its breath. Let's linger here, in the courtyard's tense glow, where Livia faces her reckoning. The fountain murmurs, and a breeze stirs the herbs. The world slows, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every challenge met is a story. Every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. Gaius stands in the courtyard, his shadow long across the scarred tiles. The air is warm, heavy with the scent of dust and rosemary. Livia faces him, her stola glowing in the midday sun. The fountain's trickle is steady, a quiet proof of her success, but Gaius's eyes are on the ruined mosaic. His voice is low, sharp, asking why his father's gift lies in pieces. Livia explains the cracked pipe, the leaking cistern, and Quintus's work. Her words are clear, measured, but her heart pounds. Slaves linger nearby, pretending to sweep, their ears sharp. Neighbors peer over the wall, their whispers a faint hum. This is Rome. Nothing is private, not even failure. Gaius listens, his face unreadable. He steps to the cistern, running a hand along its edge. The water is clear, the flow strong. Livia watches, her breath held. She mentions the wine traded, the coins spent, the gossip endured. It's a risk, laying it bare, but honesty is her shield. Gaius nods, slowly, and the tension eases, just a fraction. He's not pleased the mosaic's loss stings, but he sees the villa's pulse. The water flows, the stores are full. Claudia is healthy, Livia's done her duty and he can't deny it. But there's a cost. Gaius decrees no new mosaic, not yet. Coin is tight, and Rome's taxes loom. Livia accepts this, her face calm but her pride bruised. She's won the battle, but the war of duty never ends. Picture the scene. Gaius moves to the triclinium, calling for wine. Slaves hurry, their steps soft but quick. Livia follows, her role as domina resuming. The courtyard settles, the slaves returning to their tasks. A loom clicks, a broom sweeps, the fountain sings. Claudia runs to her father, showing him her wax tablet. He smiles, and Livia's heart lifts. The villa is whole, despite its scars, but the lack of privacy lingers. Gaius's words, her defense, are already spreading. Slaves talk, neighbors embellish. By tomorrow, the market will hum with tales of the broken mosaic. Livia's gamble, Gaius's restraint. She's used to it, but today it grates. She dreams of a moment unseen, a chance to breathe, but Rome binds her to its rhythm. The day moves on, and Livia shifts to hosting. Gaius invites a friend, a senator passing through. Dinner will be simple but elegant: fish, lentils, honeyed figs. Livia directs the kitchen, her voice steady. Marcia, the cook, nods, her hands quick with a knife. The villa's rhythm holds, and Livia's at its center. The confrontation fades, but its echo remains. She's proven her worth, but the eyes never stop watching. The gods, the slaves, the empire, they all demand her strength. Let's pause here, in the courtyard's fading light, where Livia's victory is quiet but real. A bird sings, its notes soft and clear. The air cools and the world slows. We're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every triumph is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep's gentle tide. The sun dips low, bathing the villa in a soft orange glow. Livia moves through the triclinium, checking the cushions on the low couches. The air smells of roasted fish and dill, the kitchen's heat seeping through the walls. Slaves light lamps, their flames dancing on the painted walls, vines and birds. A faded echo of the lost mosaic. Gaius reclines, his toga loosened, chatting with the Senator Marcus. Their laughter is loud, fueled by wine. Livia oversees the meal, her presence subtle but vital. She signals Marcia to serve, and plates a riffish glazed with garum lentils, spiced with coriander, figs dripping with honey. The senator praises the food and Gaius beams. Livia's work is invisible, but it's the villa's heart. But there's a new challenge. Marcus asks about the cistern, his tone curious but pointed. Gossip has reached him. Carried by the road's travelers, Gaius glances at Livia, his eyes sharp. She answers smoothly, explaining the repair. The waters return. Her voice is calm, her smile warm. Marcus nods, but his questions linger about the mosaic, the wine, the villa's finances. In Rome, every dinner is a negotiation, and Livia's on trial. The lack of privacy is stark. Slaves hover, pouring wine, their ears open. Claudia sits nearby, listening too closely. Livia deflects with grace, steering the talk to Marcus's travels. He takes the bait, boasting about Gaul's markets. Gaius relaxes, and Livia exhales. It's a small win, but it matters. Picture the scene. The triclinium glows with lamplight, the air heavy with food and wine. A slave plays a lyre, its notes soft and hypnotic. Livia moves among the couches, her stola brushing the floor. She's the domina but also the diplomat, balancing Gaius's pride and Marcus's curiosity. The meal stretches late, and the villa hums with life. Slaves clear plates, their steps silent but precise. Claudia recites a poem, her voice clear, and Marcus claps. Livia's pride is real, but her mind is on the next task. Tomorrow, she'll visit the weavers, check the looms, ensure the cloth is ready for market. The villa's rhythm never stops, and neither does she. But the gossip from the cistern lingers, a shadow on her name. Marcus's questions stirred it, and the slaves will carry it further. Livia's learned to endure, but it's a weight. She dreams of a night without scrutiny, a moment to be herself, but Rome demands her role, always. The senator leaves, his cart rattling into the night. Gaius retires, pleased but tired. Livia stays, overseeing the cleanup. The triclinium empties, and the lamps burn low. The air cools, and the fountain's trickle returns. A steady lullaby. Let's linger here, in the triclinium's quiet, where Livia's diplomacy holds the villa together. A cricket chirps, its rhythm soft and endless. The stars shine through the skylight, faint but eternal. We're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every moment is a story. Every sound a step toward sleep's gentle embrace. Morning light spills into the villa, soft and warm. Livia wakes to the scent of fresh-baked bread, the kitchen's rhythm already turning. The air is crisp, tinged with dew and the faint smoke of lamps extinguished at dawn. She rises, her tunic simple, her hair pinned quickly. Gaius sleeps, his snores faint through the curtain. Claudia stirs, clutching her wax tablet. Livia kisses her forehead, then moves to the courtyard. The fountain's trickle is strong now, a quiet triumph. The broken mosaic is gone, the tiles swept clean, but the courtyard feels new, alive. Slaves work with purpose, sweeping, watering herbs, polishing bronze. Livia's heart lifts, but the day's tasks wait. She's visiting the weavers today, a short walk to a nearby shed where looms hum. The villa's cloth is vital, sold at market, gifted to allies, worn by the household. But there's a problem. One loom broke last week, and repairs are slow. The weaver, a freedwoman named Sylvia, is skilled but stubborn, resisting Livia's suggestions. This is Rome. Authority is earned, even over freed slaves. Livia walks the path, her stola catching the breeze. The air smells of wildflowers and dust, the hills green with vines. The shed comes into view, its roof sagging but sturdy. Inside, looms clack, and Sylvia greets her with a nod, not a bow. Livia inspects the cloth, its weave tight but uneven. She points this out, her voice calm but firm. Sylvia bristles, claiming the loom's fault. The lack of privacy sharpens the moment other weavers watch, their hands pausing. Livia could push, but she chooses patience. She offers to send Titus to fix the loom, and Sylvia softens. It's a compromise, but it works. Picture the scene. The shed hums with looms, the air thick with wool's faint musk. Livia moves among the weavers, praising their work. Her glows in the dim light, her presence steadying. The cloth is good enough for market, and Livia's relief is quiet but real. She's navigated another challenge, kept a villa's rhythm, but the gossip from the cistern follows her. A weaver mentions it, her tone innocent but probing. Livia smiles, deflecting with talk of the harvest. The villa's struggles are never hers alone. Eyes watch, tongues wag. She's learned to carry it, but it's a burden. Back at the villa, the day unfolds. Livia checks the garden, the storeroom. The accounts. Each task is small but vital, a thread in the villa's tapestry. The lack of privacy is constant. Slaves, neighbors, even Claudia always watching. Livia dreams of a silent moment, a hidden corner. but Rome binds her to its web. The sun climbs, and the courtyard buzzes. A slave tunes a lyre, its notes soft and clear. The fountain sings, and the world feels alive. Let's pause here, in the villa's steady pulse, where Livia's quiet victories shine. A breeze stirs the vines, and a bird calls, its rhythm endless. We're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every task is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. The sun arcs high, warming the villa's whitewashed walls. Livia stands in the garden, pruning rosemary with a small bronze knife. The herb's sharp scent fills the air, mingling with the earth's warmth. Claudia kneels nearby, planting mint, her small hands careful but clumsy. Livia guides her, her voice soft, teaching patience. The fountain's trickle blends with the hum of bees, a steady lullaby. Slaves move through the courtyard. Their tasks, a quiet rhythm sweeping, carrying water, polishing lamps. The villa feels whole, its scars fading in the daylight. But a new challenge stirs. A slave approaches, his face tight, reporting a sick child in the quarters. It's fever, not plague, but it's serious. Livia's heart quickens. The villa's health is her duty, and illness spreads fast in close quarters. She sends for a healer, a woman named Drusilla, known for her herbs but not her speed. Coin is tight, but Livia will pay. The child's mother, a slave named Amelia, waits by the quarters, her eyes red. Livia speaks to her, promising care, her voice calm but firm. Amelia nods, clinging to hope. This is Rome's survival as collective, and Livia's role binds her to every soul, but the lack of privacy complicates it. Slaves gather, whispering about the fever. Neighbors will hear, and gossip will twist at Livia's villa. Struck by sickness, she feels the eyes, the judgment, but pushes on. Picture the scene. Livia moves to the storeroom, gathering honey and mint for the healer. The air is cool, the jars clay smooth under her hands. She's focused, but the villa's hum follows looms clicking. A donkey braying Claudia's laughter. There's no closed door, no silent space. Even Amelia's grief is public, her sobs echoing. Livia returns, handing the supplies to a slave, to deliver. Drusilla arrives, her basket heavy with roots and leaves. She works quickly, mixing a poultice, her hands steady. Livia watches, her stola catching the breeze. The child's fever breaks by dusk, and Amelia weeps with relief. Livia's relief mirrors hers, but it's quiet. The villa's rhythm holds, but the cost is real coin spent. Gossip stirred, Gaius will ask questions, and Livia's answers must be flawless. She moves to the tablinum, recording the healer's fee. The wax tablets are her refuge, their numbers a truth she can control. The day fades, and the villa settles. Lamps flicker, their glow soft on the walls. A slave sings, her voice low and haunting. The fountain's trickle is a heartbeat, steady, and sure Livia's done her duty. Again, but the eyes never stop slaves' gods, Rome itself. She dreams of a moment unseen, a breath unjudged. But the villa calls, always. Let's linger here, in the garden's fading light, where Livia's care keeps the villa alive. A cricket chirps, its rhythm endless. The stars emerge, faint but eternal. We're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every act is a story, every sound a lullaby, pulling us toward sleep's gentle tide. Dawn paints the villa in soft pinks, the air cool and scented with dew. Livia wakes to the clatter of pots in the kitchen, the day's rhythm already stirring. She rises, her tunic crisp, and splashes her face with water from the now steady cistern. Claudia sleeps, her wax tablet tucked under her arm. Livia smiles, but her mind is on the harvest. The villa's vineyards are ripening, and today she inspects them. Grapes mean wine, wine means coin, and the villa's future hangs on both. She walks to the fields, her stola brushing the dew-wet grass. The air smells of earth and green vines, a promise of bounty. Slaves follow, carrying baskets, their steps light but purposeful. The vines stretch across the hills, their leaves catching the morning sun. Livia kneels, checking a cluster purple plump but summer spotted, a blight, small but real. Her stomach tightens, a bad harvest could cripple the villa, and Gaius's patience is thin. She calls Titus, who knows plants, and he confirms it's early enough to save most. They'll prune the sick vines, burn them, and pray to Bacchus. This is Rome. Nature is generous but cruel, and Livia's vigilance is the shield. But the lack of privacy follows her. Slaves watch, their faces tense. They know a blight's weight, and they'll talk. Neighbors will hear, twisting the story Livia's vines, failing under her watch. She feels the pressure, but her face is calm. She directs the pruning, her voice steady, and the slaves obey. Picture the scene. The vineyard hums with work, the air thick with the scent of crushed leaves. Livia moves among the vines, her hands quick but gentle, snipping spotted clusters. The sun climbs, warming her back. A slave sings, his voice low and rhythmic, easing the tension. Claudia runs up, asking to help, and Livia hands her a small knife, teaching care. The girl's focus is a mirror of her mother's, and Livia's pride is quiet but deep. By noon the sick vines are gone, the healthy ones spared. Titus spreads ash to deter the blight, his hands black but sure. Livia's relief is cautious. The harvest is safe, for now. But the gossip will linger, and Gaius will ask about the lost grapes. She'll explain, her numbers ready, her tone firm. The villa's rhythm holds, but it's fragile. Back at the courtyard, the day unfolds. Livia checks the looms, the storeroom, the child's health. Each task is a thread, woven by her hands. The lack of privacy is a constant hum. Slaves, neighbors, gods, always watching. She dreams of a silent hill, a moment to be, but Rome demands her duty. The fountain sings, and a breeze stirs the vines. Let's pause here, in the vineyard's glow, where Livia's care saves the harvest. A bird calls, its notes soft and clear. The world slows, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every effort is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. The sun arcs across the sky, bathing the villa in golden warmth. Livia stands in the courtyard, overseeing a new task, repairing the stable's roof. The air smells of straw and fresh-cut wood, mingling with the fountain's damped mist. Slaves hammer beams, their blows steady but loud. Claudia sits nearby, practicing her letters, her stylus scratching wax. Livia's stola is dusted with sawdust, but her focus is sharp. The stable matters: the donkey's health, the cart's shelter, the villa's mobility. A storm last month weakened the roof, and winter looms. But there's a challenge. The wood is costlier than expected, and the market's prices have climbed. Livia bartered for what she could, but the villa's coin is stretched. Gaius approved the repair, but he'll scrutinize the cost. She's chosen cheaper pine over cedar, a risk if rot sets in. Titus oversees the work, his hands deft with a mallet, but he's warned her pine won't last as long. Livia nods, her jaw tight. It's a compromise, but survival demands it. This is Rome. Of each choice is a balance, and none are private. Slaves watch, their hammers pausing. They know the wood's quality, and they'll whisper. Neighbors lean over the wall, asking about the noise. Livia smiles, offering watered wine, but her patience thins. Gossip about the vineyard's blight already circulates, and now this. Her reputation is a fragile thread, and every task pulls it tighter. Picture the scene. The courtyard buzzes with work, the stable's roof taking shape. Livia moves among the slaves, her voice calm but firm, directing beams. The air is warm, the fountains trickle a steady heartbeat. A slave carves a peg, his knife's rhythm hypnotic. Claudia looks up, asking about the wood, and Livia explains, her tone gentle, but teaching. The girl nods, learning the villa's weight. By afternoon, the roof is nearly done, the pine beams solid but plain. Titus tests a joint, satisfied, and Livia's relief is quiet. The stable will hold, the donkey safe, but the cost lingers, and Gaius's questions will come. She'll face him, her accounts ready, her pride intact. The villa's rhythm is her strength, even when eyes judge. The day shifts, and Livia moves to the kitchen. Marcia needs help with the feast plans too. Host a merchant tomorrow. The menu is ambitious: roasted boar, spiced peas, honey cakes. Livia tastes the sauce, suggesting cumin, and Marcia grins. Their bond is small but real, a thread in the villa's web. But the lack of privacy follows. Slaves linger, neighbors call. Livia dreams of a quiet corner, a breath unseen. But Rome binds her to its stage. The sun dips, and lamps flicker to life. A lyre plays, its notes soft and haunting. Let's linger here, in the courtyard's glow, where Livia's choices shape the villa. The fountain sings, and a cricket chirps, its rhythm endless. We're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every task is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep's gentle tide. Morning breaks gently, the villa wrapped in a soft mist. Livia wakes to the scent of roasting boar, the kitchen alive for Gaius's feast. The air is cool, tinged with smoke and the faint sweetness of honey. She rises, her stola crisp, and checks. Claudia still asleep, her wax tablet askew. Livia moves to the courtyard, where the fountain's trickle blends with the clatter of pots. Slaves are busy, polishing bronze, arranging cushions in the triclinium. The stable's new roof gleams, a quiet victory. But today's challenge is the feast. Gaius's guest, a merchant named Publius, is key to a trade deal for Easton. But spices, the meal must impress, and Livia's role is to make it seamless. She checks the triclinium, its walls painted with fading peacocks. The couches are plush, the tables low and gleaming. But there's a problem. Marcia reports a shortage of peas, a key dish. The market's supply was thin, and the garden's crop isn't ready. Livia's mind races. The feast is tonight, and Publius expects abundance. She could substitute lentils, but that risks seeming frugal. This is Rome. Every detail is a statement, and failure is public. Slaves linger, watching her reaction. Neighbors will hear of any misstep, adding to the gossip about the mosaic and vines. Livia's jaw tightens, but her voice is steady. She sends Titus to a nearby villa, one owned by Flavia, to borrow peas. It's a risk. Flavia's nosy, and her help comes with questions. But there's no choice. Titus nods, grabbing a basket, and Livia turns to Marcia, suggesting a heavier spice blend to stretch the dish. Marcia grins, her hands already moving. The kitchen is a flurry of heat and noise, pots steaming, knives chopping. The scent of cumin and coriander rises, rich and warm. Livia tastes the boar's sauce, nodding at its balance. This is her domain, where every flavor matters. Picture the scene. The courtyard hums with purpose. Slaves carrying garlands to decorate the triclinium. The fountain's spray catches the morning light, a soft shimmer. Claudia runs up asking to help, and Livia sets her to folding napkins, teaching precision. The girl's small hands are clumsy but eager, and Livia's pride is a quiet glow. But the lack of privacy presses in. Slaves whisper about the peas, their eyes flicking to her. A neighbor's voice calls over the wall, offering advice unasked. Livia smiles, deflecting with charm, but her patience frays. This is Romeo. Every move is a performance, your every flaw a story. Titus returns, his basket heavy with peas. Flavia sent them, but with a note. She expects an invitation soon. Livia exhales, the debt small but real. She directs Marcia to prepare the dish, and the kitchen settles into rhythm. The day unfolds, and Livia moves through wine, inspecting cushions, briefing slaves on service. Each step is deliberate. Her role as domina, a thread in the villa's web. By dusk, the triclinium glows with lamplight, the air thick with roasting meat and flowers. Publius arrives, his toga crisp, his smile wide but calculating. Gaius greets him, and Livia oversees the meal, her presence subtle but vital. The boar is tender, the peas perfect, the honey cakes golden. Publius praises the food, and Gaius beams. Livia's work is invisible, but it seals the deal. The villa's rhythm holds, and her heart lifts. But the eyes never stop slaves, guests, gods. Watching, she dreams of a silent moment, a breath unseen. The feast ends, and the villa quiets. Let's linger here, in the triclinium's fading glow, where skill shines. A lyre plays, its notes soft and haunting. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every triumph is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. The stars emerge above the villa, a faint glitter in the night's deep blue. Livia stands. In the courtyard, the feast's echoes fading. The air is cool, scented with extinguished lamps and lingering rosemary. The fountain's trickle is steady, a heartbeat that carries the villa through the dark. Slaves clear the triclinium there, steps soft, their voices low. Claudia sleeps, her wax tablet tucked beside her. Gaius is pleased, the trade deal with Publius secured. Livia's work made it possible, though her name won't be praised. She's used to it. But tonight, the weight feels lighter. The villa is whole, water flows, vines grow, the stable stands. Each challenge met, each crisis solved, is a thread in Rome's vast tapestry. But there's one last task. A slave reports a loose gate, noticed during the feast. It's minor but riskiest. Dogs, thieves, or worse could slip through. Livia nods, sending Titus to fix it at dawn. Her mind is tired, but her role never pauses. The lack of privacy is a quiet hum even now. Slaves watch her, their eyes dim in the lamplight. Neighbors might hear of the gate, twisting it into carelessness. Livia's reputation is a fragile flame, and she guards it fiercely. Picture her now, standing by the fountain. Her stola is creased, her hair loose from its pins. The air is still, the courtyard empty save for a cat slinking past. Its eyes glow and Livia smiles. These small moments ground her, a pause in the villa's endless rhythm. She thinks of the past, days the cisterns crack, the mosaic's loss, the vineyard's blight, the feast's success. Each was a battle, fought under Rome's unblinking gaze. Yet, she prevailed. The villa lives, its people fed, its gods appeased. This is Rome duty binds, but it also builds. Livia's strength is the villa's strength, woven from shared struggles and quiet triumphs. She moves to the lararium, offering a pinch of spelt to the household gods. The clay figures seem to watch, their presence a comfort. The air is heavy with incense, and the lamp's flame dances. Livia prays for peace, for Claudia, for the villa's future. The gods listen, or so she hopes. The night deepens, and the villa settles. A slave polishes a jug, its bronze catching the light. Another mends a tunic, the needle's rhythm hypnotic. These sounds are Rome's lullaby, steady and eternal. Livia's eyes grow heavy, but her heart is calm. She's carried the villa through another day, another story. And before the dream takes you, subscribe to the channel. Without that step you might miss Rome's whispers that soothe the night. Let's pause here, in the courtyard's quiet, where Livia's work glows like starlight. A cricket chirps, its notes soft and endless. The world slows, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's calm, where every moment is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep's gentle tide. The villa sleeps under a blanket of stars, the night cool and vast. Livia lies in the cubiculum, the straw mattress creaking beneath her. The air smells of wool and faint lavender, drifting through the curtain. Claudia's breath is soft, a steady rhythm beside her. The fountain's trickle carries through the atrium, a whisper of the villa's life. Livia's mind is quiet now. The day's burden's easing. The gate will be fixed. The feast was a triumph. The villa endures. Each story we've walked through Livia's mornings, her markets, her crisis builds this world. A Rome without Wi-Fi or privacy, yet rich with connection. The lack of solitude shaped them, wove their lives into a shared heartbeat. Picture the villa now, its walls glowing faintly in the moonlight. Lamps are out, their oil spent, but the air holds their smoky trace. A slave dozes by the kitchen, his broom idle. Another watches the gate, his eyes heavy but alert. The gods stand guard. At the lararium their clay face is eternal. This is Rome, not the marble of emperors but the clay and sweat of daily life. Livia's days, her choices, her quiet strength, mirror countless others across the empire. They built aqueducts, baked bread, loved, fought, endured all under the same stars. Their world feels distant, but it's close, a hum beneath our own. The villa's rhythm is a gift, a story that calms, that carries us to sleep. Let's linger here, in the night's embrace. Imagine the hills beyond, their vines silver in the moonlight. A distant owl hoots, its call soft but clear. The air is still, the world vast. These stories of Rome, of Livia, of a villa alive with purpose, are more than history. They're a lullaby, woven from sensory threads, the scent of rosemary, the clack of looms, the taste of honeyed figs. They remind us of a time when life was shared, when every moment was seen, yet beauty thrived. The villa's lamps are out, but its heart burns on. Livia sleeps, her work done, her legacy quiet but real. And before the dream wraps you fully, subscribe to the channel. Without that step you might miss the next whisper of Rome, the next story that soothes the night. Picture a mosaic, not broken but whole, its colors fading into dreams. The fountain sings, a final note. A breeze stirs the vines, and the stars hold steady. We're sinking into Rome's calm where every story is a lullaby. Every sound a gentle pull toward sleep's eternal tide. Close your eyes and imagine a winter dawn, the air sharp with frost. No hum of devices, just the crackle of a fire in a Roman villa. It's December, and the Saturnalia festival is days away, a time when Rome turns upside down, slaves feast, masters serve, and the villa buzzes with chaotic joy. No Wi-Fi, no locked doors, just the scent of pine garlands and the clink of clay cups. Tonight we're slipping back into Livia's world, a month after her last triumphs. As she prepares for this ancient celebration, these stories are woven, to soothe each a soft step into Rome's festive heart, rich with sounds and smells to lull you toward sleep. Stay with me, because these tales might carry you to a dream under a frost-kissed sky. Picture the villa, its courtyard dusted with early snow, rare for these hills. Lamps glow through the chill, and slaves string garlands, their breath clouding. Livia stands by the fountain, its trickle slower in the cold, her wool cloak tight against the wind. The villa is alive, but tense Saturnalia demands abundance, and every eye watches her. Privacy is a ghost here. The atrium echoes with laughter, arguments, even the gods seem to lean closer. Doors are curtains, and the villa's heart beats in shared chaos. What was it like to orchestrate a festival where roles reversed, yet duty never slept? Let's begin with Livia's morning, as the villa wakes to winter's bite. A slave stokes the brazier, its embers hissing. The air smells of charcoal and fresh bread, baked early for the feast. Livia checks the storeroom, her fingers brushing clay jars of wine and oil. Saturnalia calls for excess tables heavy with food, wine flowing, slaves dining like masters, but the stores are thinner than she'd like. A late harvest and gaius taxes have stretched the villa's coin. Livia's heart tightens, but her face is calm. She's the demeanor, and the festival is her stage. The slaves expect joy, Gaius expects prestige, Rome expects perfection. Picture her now, moving through the atrium, her cloak trailing on the mosaic floor. New tiles, not dolphins, but simple waves, a compromise after the cistern's cost. Claudia runs past, clutching a pine sprig, her laughter bright. The villa rhythm is festive but fragile, and Livia holds it together. No moment is hers alone. Slaves watch, neighbors call, even the wind carries gossip. Yet, there's magic in this. Saturnalia binds the villa, a fleeting moment when hierarchy softens, and shared feasts warm the cold. If this wintry glimpse of Rome's chaos calms you, subscribe now and join this nightly dance through the empire. How many will feast under Saturn's starry gaze? Let's drift deeper into the preparations that shape a villa's wildest days. The brazier crackles, and a distant flute hums, soft as snowfall. This is history, a lullaby of frost and fire, pulling us into Livia's festive world. The winter sun peeks through the villa's atrium, its light pale and thin like a whisper of warmth. Livia steps into the courtyard, her breath clouding in the frosty air. The scent of pine garlands hangs heavy, their needles crunching underfoot, as slaves weave them into loops. A fire crackles in a bronze brazier, its smoke curling upward, mingling with the sharp tang of snow. The fountain's trickle is sluggish, edged with ice, but the villa hums with Saturnalia's promise. Slaves chatter, their voices brighter than usual, anticipating the festival's freedom. Livia's cloak brushes the new mosaic, its wave pattern, glinting dully. She's checking the preparations, her eyes sharp despite the cold. The feast needs more than wine and oil-boar figs, and honey cakes must fill the tables. And the slaves expect gifts, a Saturnalia tradition. But the storeroom's shelves are lean, and Livia's plan hinges on a risky trade. She's sending Titus to a nearby market for supplies, bartering wool for food. The catch: the wool's quality is lower this season, and merchants are picky. Livia's stomach knots, but her face is serene. This is Rome. Festivals are a stage, and she's the director. Every move watched. Slaves pause to glance at her, their hands busy with garlands. Claudia skips nearby, tying ribbons on a pine branch, her cheeks red from the chill. Livia calls her to help count jars, teaching duty even in festivity. Picture the scene. The courtyard glows with morning frost, the brazier's embers popping. Softly, a slave polishes a bronze lamp, its surface catching the light like a frozen star. Another carries firewood, the logs bark rough against his tunic. The air is alive with preparation, laughter, clinking clay, the distant bleat of a goat. Livia moves to the storeroom, her sandals crunching snow. The air inside is cold, smelling of earth and stale wine. She runs her fingers over the wool bales, their texture coarse but warm. It's not enough to impress, but it's all she has. Titus waits by the cart, his cloak patched but sturdy. She gives him instructions, her voice low to avoid eager ears. The slaves are festive, but they gossip, and a bad trade could spark whispers. Neighbors are already curious, their voices drifting over the wall, asking about the garlands. Livia smiles, offering nothing. Privacy is a dream, and Saturnalia makes it worse. Every door is open, every secret shared. Yet, there's joy in this chaos. The villa feels alive, its people bound by the festival's promise. Livia's role is to harness it, to make the feast a triumph. She checks the kitchen, where Marcia kneads dough, her hands dusted with flour. The scent of honey and yeast rises, a warm note in the cold. Livia tastes a cake, nodding at its sweetness. This is her world, a delicate balance of scarcity and splendor. The day unfolds, and Titus departs, the cart creaking under wool. A flute plays somewhere, its notes soft as falling snow. Let's linger here, in the courtyard's frosty glow, where Livia shapes Saturnalia's heart. The brazier hums, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's festive rhythm, where every task is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. Frost clings to the villa's walls, sparkling as the sun climbs higher. Livia stands in the atrium, her cloak draped over her shoulders, checking a wax tablet scratched with feast plans. The air smells of damp wool and burning olive wood. The brick heat a faint shield against the cold. Slaves bustle, hanging garlands across the columns, their laughter louder now, Saturnalia's spirit loosening tongues. The fountain's ice has thawed slightly, its trickle a soft pulse. Livia's mind is on Titus, still at the market, bartering for boar and figs. His return will decide the feast's fate, but there's no time to wait. She moves to the triclinium, where Claudia arranges clay cups, her small hands careful but slow. Livia adjusts one, her touch gentle, teaching precision. The room's walls, painted with faded vines, seem to watch, and the lack of privacy as stark slaves pass through, their eyes curious, their steps never silent. This is Rome, where even a festival is a public act. Livia's next task is the slaves' gifts, a Saturnalia custom. Tradition demands small tokens, candles, nuts, or clay figurines to honor their brief freedom. But the villa's coin is tight, and Livia's plan is modest. Walnuts from the orchard and wax tablets for the children. She's carved some herself, a rare labor, her fingers still sore from the knife. The slaves expect more, though, their whispers hinting at past years' generosity. Livia feels the pressure, but her face is calm. She calls Marcia, asking her to roast the walnuts with honey, a touch of luxury to mask the simplicity. Marcia nods, her grin warm but knowing the kitchen is a haven of heat, its air thick with baking bread and sizzling fat. Livia lingers, the warmth easing her joints. Picture the scene. The triclinium glows with morning light, its cushions plumped for the feast. A slave tunes a lyre, its strings humming softly, a nod to Saturnalia's music. Another sweeps the floor, the brooms, bristles scratching the new mosaic. Claudia hums, stacking cups, unaware of the villa's delicate balance. Livia moves to the storeroom, counting walnuts in a wicker basket. The air is cold, the nuts' earthy scent grounding. She checks the tablets, their wax smooth under her thumb. It's enough, she tells herself, but doubt lingers. The slave's eyes will judge, and gossip will spread. Livia, the frugal demeanor. Neighbors are already at the gate, offering pine cones for the feast, their voices loud with false kindness. She accepts, her smile tight, knowing they'll expect wine in return. This is Saturnalia. Generosity is a game, and Livia plays it carefully. She returns to the courtyard, where a slave lights another brazier, its flames dancing. The air grows warmer, but the festival's weight presses on. Titus's cart is due soon, and its load will shape the night. Livia's heart beats with the fountain, steady but tense. The villa is a stage, and she's its keeper. every choice a thread in Rome's festive web. A sparrow chirps, its notes sharp in the frost. Let's pause here. In the atrium's quiet bustle, where Livia weaves Saturnalia's magic, the lyre hums, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's winter, where every gift is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The winter noon casts a frail light over the villa, softening the frost on the courtyard's edge. Livia kneels by a wooden table, sorting pine cones for Saturnalia's decorations. Their resinous scent clings to her fingers, sharp against the air's chill. A brazier pops nearby, its embers glowing, while slaves drape garlands over the fountain, their chatter a festive hum. The new mosaic's waves shimmer faintly, dusted with snow. Livia's mind is on the feast's centerpiece, boar, promised by Titus's market trade. His cart hasn't returned, and the delay gnaws at her. Saturnalia demands abundance, and a missing boar could dim the villa's glow. She rises, her cloak heavy with damp, and moves to the kitchen. Marcia pounds spices the mortar's rhythm, steady, her breath clouding in the cold. The air smells of cumin and roasting nuts, a warm pulse in the winter's grip. Livia checks the honey cakes, their edges golden, and nods, but the boar's absence looms. She could use goat instead, but that's a poor substitute, and Gaius would notice. This is Rome festivals are judged, and Livia's reputation hangs on every dish. Slaves linger, their eyes flicking to her, sensing the strain. Claudia runs in, clutching a clay figurine, a Saturnalia gift she's painting. Livia smiles, guiding her daughter's brush, but her thoughts are elsewhere. Picture the scene. The kitchen glows with firelight, steam rising from pots. A slave stirs a sauce, its garum tang sharp. Another chops leaks the knife's chop a soft metronome. Livia steps outside, the courtyard crisp underfoot. A neighbor leans over the wall, offering figs, her voice loud with curiosity about the feast. Livia accepts her reply, polite but curt. Privacy is impossible, every worry is public, every choice a tale. She moves to the atrium, checking the lararium. The household gods stand silent, their clay faces dusted with frost. She offers praying for Titus's success. The air is heavy with incense, the braziers crackle a faint comfort. Titus's cart finally rumbles in, and Livia's heart lifts. He unloads a boar, lean but sufficient, and a basket of figs. The trade cost more wool than planned, thinning the villa's stores, but it's done. She directs slaves to prepare the boar, their knives flashing. The courtyard buzzes, garlands swaying in the breeze. Claudia paints her figurine, unaware of the villa's delicate balance. Livia's relief is quiet. She's secured the feast's heart, but the cost stings. Neighbors watch, their whispers carrying. This is Saturnalia Joy's work, and Livia's the weaver. The day shifts, and she checks the triclinium's lamps, their wicks trimmed. A flute hums, its notes soft as snowflakes. Let's linger here, in the courtyard's festive hum, where Livia's care shapes the festival. The brazier glows, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's winter, where every triumph is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. Snow dusts the villa's roof, catching the afternoon's pale glow. Livia stands in the triclinium, adjusting a garland over the doorway. Its pine needles prick her fingers, their scent mingling with the oil lamp's smoky trace. The air is cold, the room's painted vines fading into shadow. Slaves arrange couches, their cushions plump with wool, while Claudia scatters pine cones on the tables. Her giggles a bright note. Livia's task now is the feasts, seating a delicate dance for Saturnalia, where slaves dine with masters. Gaius insists on tradition, but the slave's presence at the table shifts the villa's rhythm. Livia must balance respect with control, ensuring harmony under watchful eyes. The lack of privacy is a constant hum. Slaves whisper, neighbors peer through the gate. Even Claudia listens too closely. Livia's plan is to seat Titus and Marcia prominently, honoring their loyalty, but others might resent it. A slave named Amelia, sharp-tongued since her child's fever, could stir trouble. Livia's seen her muttering, her eyes defiant. This is Rome festivals blur lines, but tensions linger. Picture the scene. The triclinium hums with preparation, lamps casting a golden haze. A slave polishes a bronze tray, its surface gleaming. Another tunes a lyre, its strings purring softly. Livia moves to the courtyard, checking the boar's progress. The kitchen's heat spills out, smelling of roasting meat and thyme. Marcia bastes the boar, her hands quick, and Livia praises her. The gesture is small, but vital. Saturnalia thrives on goodwill. Back in the atrium, Livia kneels by the lararium, offering wine to the gods. The air is cool, the clay figures stern. She prays for unity, her voice a whisper. A slave passes, carrying garlands, her glance curious. There's no hiding here, no private thought. Livia rises, her cloak brushing the mosaic. A new worry invited Lucius, the neighbor, whose ambition is a quiet threat. His wife, Flavia, lent peas for the last feast, and she expects favors. Livia must charm them without yielding ground, a task made harder by the slave's bold chatter. She moves to the storeroom, checking the wine. The jars are fewer, the Trades cost clear. She selects a modest vintage, saving the best for Gaius's deal. The air is earthy, the jars cool under her palms. Claudia runs in, asking about the slaves' feast, and Livia explains, her tone teaching. The girl nods, her eyes wide. The villa's rhythm is festive but taut, and Livia holds it steady. Neighbors call, their voices loud, and she deflects with a smile. The day fades, lamps flaring brighter. A flute weaves through the chill, its melody hypnotic. Let's pause here, in the triclinium's glow, where Livia balances Saturnalia's chaos. The fountain's trickle slows, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive web, where every choice is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The winter dusk settles over the villa, cloaking the courtyard in a soft gray. Livia lights a lamp in the atrium, its flame flickering against the chill. The air smells of pine and roasting boar, the kitchen's warmth seeping through the walls. Slaves rush past, carrying trays of figs and nuts, their steps quick but careful. The fountain's trickle is faint, iced at the edges, and Claudia huddles by a brazier, painting another figurine. Livia's focus is the slave's role in feast or dine with Gaius and Lucius, a gesture of equality. But Livia must set rules. Without structure, the night could spiral. Slaves too bold, guests offended. She gathers them in the courtyard, her cloak dusted with snow. Her voice is calm, outlining the night. They'll eat, sing, but respect the villa's order. Emilia's eyes narrow, her silence loud. Livia notes it, her heart tight. This is Rome. Festivals lift spirits but bear tensions, and every word is heard. Picture the scene. The courtyard glows with lamplight, garlands swaying in the breeze. A slave stokes the brazier, its embers hissing. Another carries a jug, its clay scraping stone. Livia moves to the triclinium, checking the tables. The pine cones gleam, the cups aligned. Marcia reports the boar is ready, its skin crisp, and Livia exhales. The feast is close, but Emilia's defiance lingers. Livia could punish her, but that risks mutiny on Saturnalia's eve. Instead, she assigns her to serve Lucius, a test of loyalty. The decision is subtle but firm, and slaves notice. Their glance is sharp. Neighbors linger at the gate, their voices carrying news of the feast. The slaves roll. Livia offers wine, her smile practiced, but her patience thins. There's no privacy, not even in command. She moves to the kitchen, tasting the peas. They're spice-bold. Marcia grins, and Livia's tension eases. The villa's pulse is strong but fragile. Gaius emerges, his toga crisp, inspecting the triclinium. He nods, but his eyes linger on the new mosaic, a reminder of past costs. Livia deflects, praising the boar, and he softens. Claudia runs to him, showing her figurine, and his laugh is rare but warm. Livia's pride is quiet. He's built this. The moment, this fleeting unity. But the slaves' gifts must be distributed soon, and the walnuts feel meager. She checks the storeroom, the nuts scent earthy, the tablets smooth. It's enough, she hopes. The air is cold, the jars shadowed. A flute hums outside, its notes weaving through the dusk. The villa braces for Saturnalia. It's chaos, a tide Livia must steer. Let's linger here, in the courtyard's frosty hush, where Livia shapes the festival's heart. The brazier crackles, and we're drifting deeper, into Rome's winter, where every rule is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The villa glitters under the first stars, its lamps casting a golden haze. Livia stands in the triclinium, her stola glowing, as slaves light the final wicks. The air is thick with roasting boar, honey and pine. The courtyard's brazier a distant hum. The fountain's trickle is barely audible, frozen at its rim. Claudia arranges walnuts on a tray, her fingers sticky with honey, while Gaius greets Lucius and Flavia at the gate. Saturnalia's feast begins tonight, and Livia's work is to make it seamless, a night of revelry yet order. She checks the couches, their cushions aligned, and signals Marcia to start serving. The boar's scent draws murmurs, and Livia's heart lifts. But Emilia's role as Lucius's server is a gamble. Her defiance could spark trouble, and Lucius's sharp eyes miss nothing. This is Rome. Festivals are a stage, and Livia's every move is seen. Picture the scene. The triclinium hums with anticipation. Lamps dancing on painted vines. A slave plays a lyre, its notes soft as snow. Another pours wine, its splash a quiet rhythm. Livia moves among the guests, her smile warm but measured. Slaves recline beside Gaius, an odd sight, their tunics clean but plain. Emilia serves Lucius, her hands steady but her eyes cold. Livia watches, her breath held. The lack of privacy is suffocating. Slaves whisper. Flavia's gaze lingers. Even Claudia notices the tension. Livia deflects, offering figs to Flavia, her voice light. The feast unfolds, the boar carved, its meat tender. Gaius laughs, the wine loosening him. But Lucius probes, asking about the villa's harvest. Livia answers vaguely, steering to Saturnalia's history masters serving slaves. A nod to equality. Lucius smirks, and Emilia's tray trembles. Livia's heart races, but she keeps her poise. The slaves' gifts are next, and Livia distributes them walnuts, tablets, small but earnest. The slaves smile, but Emilia's nod is curt. The gesture holds, but barely. If these festive tales of Rome soothe your mind, click subscribe. It's free, and the Empire's winter has more secrets to share. Livia moves to the kitchen, checking the honeycakes. Marcia's hands are quick, her grin a comfort. The air is warm, the oven's heat a shield. Livia tastes a cake, its sweetness grounding. Back in the triclinium, the lyre hums, and slaves sing, their voices raw but joyful. The villa's pulse is alive, but Amelia's silence is a shadow. Flavia whispers to Lucius, and Livia catches gifts and modest gossip brews, and there's no escape. The night deepens, lamps burning low. Let's pause here, in the triclinium's festive glow, where Livia balances chaos and calm. The fountain's faint trickle returns, and we're sinking deeper into it. Rome's Saturnalia, where every moment is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The triclinium pulses with Saturnalia's warmth, its lamps casting shadows that dance like spirits. Livia stands by the doorway, her stole flecked with wine, watching the feast unfold. The air is heavy with roasted boar, spilled wine, and the sweet tempts of figs. Slaves recline, their laughter louder now, while Gaius toasts Lucius, his voice slurred but merry. Claudia claps, her painted figurine clutched tight, unaware of the tension. Livia's eyes are on Amelia, who serves Flavia with a stiffness that borders on defiance. The slave's tray tilts, a cup nearly spilling, and Flavia's eyebrow arches. Livia's heart skips. This is the conflict she feared. Saturnalia's role reversal emboldens slaves, but Amelia's resentment could ruin the night. This is Rome, freedom is fleeting, and every misstep is public. Picture the scene, the triclinium glows, the lyre's notes weaving through chatter. A slave refills a jug, its clay scraping wood, another clears plates, the clink rhythmic. Livia steps forward, offering Amelia a gentle word, her voice low to avoid attention. Amelia nods, but her eyes burn. Livia's gamble to test her loyalty is faltering, and Lucius notices, his smile sharp. The lack of privacy is a wait slave's watch. Flavia whispers, even the gods seem to judge. Livia could pull Amelia aside, but that risks a scene. Instead, she signals Marcia to take over, a subtle shift. Marcia's warmth diffuses the moment, and Flavia relaxes. But the problem festers. Amelia retreats to the kitchen, her steps heavy, and Livia knows trouble brews. She follows, the air shifting to the kitchen's heat, thick with grease and thyme. Amelia stirs a pot, her movements sharp. Livia speaks, praising her work, offering a walnut from the gifts. Amelia softens, but only slightly. The wound is deep, her child's illness. The villa's demands, Saturnalia's false freedom. Livia's empathy is real, but her role as demeanor demands control. She assigns Amelia to the storeroom, away from guests, a temporary fix. Back in the triclinium, the feast rolls on. Lucius probes Gaius about taxes, and Livia deflects, offering honeycakes her charm holds. But Amelia's absence is noted. Slaves whisper, and Flavia's gaze sharpens. The villa's pulse is festive but fraying, and Livia's the thread. She moves to the courtyard, checking the brazier. Its embers glow, the air crisp with snow. Neighbors linger at the gate, their voices loud, and Livia offers nothing. The night is young, and Amelia's resentment is a spark in the villa's tinder. A flute hums, its melody faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the chaotic glow, where Livia tames Saturnalia's fire. The fountain's trickle is faint, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every tension is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The villa's lamps burn low, their flames wavering in the winter night. Livia moves through the triclinium, her stola catching the light, as slaves sing a rowdy Saturnalia hymn. The air is thick, with wine, roasted meat, and the faint musk of sweat. Gaius laughs, his toga loose, while Lucius leans close, his voice probing about Rome's markets. Claudia dozes on a cushion, her figurine slipping from her hand. Livia's mind is on Amelia now in the storeroom, but a new problem emerges. A slave named Quintus, emboldened by wine, stands, declaring he'll serve himself as master. The room quiets, and Lucius's eyes gleam with amusement. This is Saturnalia's danger slaves testing boundaries, their boldness a public challenge. Livia's heart races, but her face is calm. This is Rome. Every act is a performance, and the villa's order hangs on her response. Picture the scene. The triclinium hums with tension, the lyre pausing mid-note. A slave refills a cup, it splashed loud in the silence. Another sweeps crumbs, the broom's bristles sharp. Livia steps forward, her voice soft but firm, praising Quintus's spirit but guiding him to sit. He hesitates, then complies. The moment diffused, but the air is charged. Slaves exchange glances, and Flavia whispers to Lucius, her words lost but sharp. The lack of privacy is a cage. Every gesture is seen, every word a seed for gossip. Livia signals Marcia to serve more wine, hoping to smooth the mood. She moves to the kitchen, checking the storeroom's door. Amelia works inside, stacking jars, her silence heavy. Livia offers a kind word, but the slave's nod is curt. The villa's festive pulse is fraying, and Quintus's outburst is a warning. Livia could tighten control, but that risks alienating the slaves on their one free night. Instead, she plans a game dice, a Saturnalia favorite, to redirect their energy. Back in the triclinium, she announces it, her smile warm. Gaius claps, and the slaves cheer, the tension easing. But Lucius watches, his questions about the villa's wealth persistent. Livia deflects, offering figs, her charm a shield. The dice roll, and laughter rises, but Quintus's eyes linger on her, bold still. The courtyard's brazier glows, its smoke curling into the starry night. Neighbors peer through the gate, their voices a low hum, and Livia ignores them. The villa is a stage, and she's its keeper, balancing freedom and order. A flute resumes, its notes soft but haunting. Let's pause here. In the triclinium's flickering light, where Livia navigates Saturnalia's chaos, the fountains trickle as a faint heartbeat, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every challenge is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The triclinium's lamps cast a golden net over the feast, their light softening the winter's edge. Livia stands by a couch, her stola dusted with pine needles, as slaves toss dice, their cheers echoing. The air smells of spilt wine, honey, cakes, and the boar's fading richness. Gaius reclines, his laughter slurred, while Lucius rolls dice with Marcia, his charm calculated. Claudia sleeps, curled on a cushion, her figurine beside her. Livia's eyes scan the room, alert for trouble. Quintus's outburst lingers, but the dice game holds the slave's focus. A new problem surfaces. A tray of figs overturns, spilled by a drunken slave named Paulus. The fruit scatters across the mosaic, and Flavia gasps, her tone sharp. The mishap is small but public, a crack in the villa's festive facade. This is Rome. Every error is a spectacle, and Livia's role is to mend it. Picture the scene. The triclinium pulses with laughter, the lyre's notes weaving through the din. A slave sweeps the figs, the broom's rhythm frantic. Another pours wine. It splashes soft counterpoint. Livia kneels, helping Paulus, her voice calm but firm, urging care. He mumbles an apology, his hands shaky. The lack of privacy is stark. Slaves watch. Lucius smirks. Even the gods seem to judge. Livia could scold Paulus, but Saturnalia forbids harshness. Instead, she signals Marcia to bring more figs, her smile masking the strain. Flavia's gaze lingers, and Livia offers her a honey cake, deflecting with grace. But the villa's pulse falters. Paulus's clumsiness stirs whispers, and Quintus's bold stare returns. Sensing weakness, Livia moves to the courtyard, needing air. The brazier's embers glow, the air crisp with snow and smoke. Neighbors linger at the gate, their voices loud with gossip about the spill. Livia ignores them, checking the storeroom. Amelia works, inside her silence a weight. Livia praises her, offering a walnut, but the slave's nod is cold. The feast's chaos is a tinderbox, and Livia's calm is the only shield. Back in the triclinium, the dice game resumes, and Gaius toasts Saturn. Lucius probes about the villa's slaves, his tone sly, and Livia deflects, praising their loyalty. The night deepens, and the lamps burn low. Paulus serves again, his hand steadier, and Livia exhales. But Flavia's whispers grow, and Quintus's gaze sharpens. The villa's festive heart beats, but its rhythm is fragile. A flute hums, its melody faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the triclinium's chaotic glow, where Livia holds Saturnalia's balance. The fountain's trickle is faint, iced over, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every misstep is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The villa's night deepens, its lamps a constellation of flickering stars. Livia moves through the triclinium, her stola brushing the mosaic, as slaves sing a Saturnalia chant, their voices raw but joyful. The air is heavy with wine, pine, and the faint grease of roasted boar. Gaius claps, his toga slipping, while Lucius leans toward Flavia, whispering. Claudia stirs, mumbling in her sleep, her figurine clutched tight. Livia's focus shifts to the wine. It's running low, a dangerous flaw in Saturnalia's excess. The storeroom's jars are nearly spent, the market trades cost steeper than planned. Livia's heart tightens, but her smile holds. This is Rome. Abundance is expected, and scarcity is a public shame. Picture the scene. The triclinium glows, the lyre's notes fading into laughter. A slave refills a cup, its clay clinking. Another clears plates, the scrape rhythmic. Livia signals Titus to fetch the last jars, her voice low to avoid alarm. He nods, slipping out, but Amelia watches from the storeroom's shadow, her eyes sharp. The lack of privacy is a chain slave's notice. Flavia's gaze lingers, even Claudia's half-open eyes catch the moment. Livia could dilute the wine, but that risks Gaius's pride. Instead, she plans to stretch it with water and honey, a subtle fix. She moves to the kitchen, the air thick with heat and time. Marcia stirs a pot, her hands quick, and Livia shares the plan. Marcia grins, grabbing a jug. The fix works, and the wine flows again. But Amelia's presence in the storeroom is a problem. She's seen the jar's scarcity, and her tongue is loose. Livia could confront her, but Saturnalia's spirit forbids it. Instead, she assigns Amelia to clean the courtyard, a task to keep her busy. Back in the triclinium, Lucius toasts his questions about the villa's wealth, relentless. Livia deflects, offering nuts, her charm steady. Quintus rolls dice, his laughter bold, and Paulus serves carefully, his earlier spill forgotten. The villa's pulse steadies, but Flavius whispers grow about the wine, the figs, the slaves. Neighbors linger outside, their voices a hum, and Livia feels the weight. The brazier's glow fades, the air crisp with snow. The night is a tightrope, and Livia walks it, her every step seen. A flute hums, its melody soft but haunting. Let's linger here, in the triclinium's fading light, where Livia guards Saturnalia's heart. The fountain's trickle is a faint pulse, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every scarcity is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The triclinium's lamps flicker, casting long shadows across the mosaic. Livia stands by the doorway, airstole creased as slaves dance, their steps clumsy but spirited. The air smells of spilled wine, honey, and the faint char of a brazier. Gaius sings, his voice off-key, while Lucius watches, his smile sly. Claudia sleeps, her figurine tucked under her arm. Livia's eyes are on the courtyard where Amelia sweeps, her movements sharp with resentment. A new problem erupts. Titus returns, whispering that a garland caught fire from a brazier, scorching a wall. The damage is small, but visible, a blemish on Saturnalia's glow. Livia's stomach knots, but her face is serene. This is Rome. Every flaw is public, and the villa's honor rests on her. Picture the scene. The triclinium hums with song, the lyre's notes weaving through the din. A slave pours wine, its splash soft, another clears cups, the clink steady. Livia slips outside, the air biting, smelling of snow and charred pine. The scorched wall is minor, but Lucius will notice, and Flavia's tongue will wag. The lack of privacy is a wait slave's watch. Amelia's broom pauses, even the stars seem to judge. Livia could hide the mark with garlands, but that's temporary. Instead, she directs Titus to fetch clay paint, a quick fix before dawn. He nods, hurrying off, but Amelia's gaze follows, her silence loud. Livia returns to the triclinium, signaling Marcia to serve more cakes. The guests eat, distracted, but Lucius asks about the villa's upkeep, his tone probing. Livia deflects, praising the lyre player, her charm a shield. The dance continues, but Quintus's steps grow bold, brushing Flavia's couch. She bristles, and Livia intervenes, guiding him to dice. The moment passes, but the villa's pulse is taut. Amelia re-enters, her task done, and Livia assigns her to the kitchen, hoping distance cools her. The brazier's embers glow outside, the air thick with smoke. Neighbors linger, their voices carrying news of the fire. Livia offers nothing, her smile tight. The night is a storm, and she's the anchor, every choice seen. The lyre hums, its melody faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the triclinium's chaotic glow, where Livia mends Saturnalia's scars. The fountain's trickle is faint, iced over, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every mishap is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The villa's night is a tapestry of light and shadow, its lamps waning. Livia kneels in the courtyard, inspecting the scorched wall, her cloak dusted with snow. The air smells of charred pine and frost, the brazier's embers a faint pulse. Inside, the triclinium hums with Saturnalia's chaos slaves laughing, Gaius toasting, the lyre's notes weaving through the din. Claudia sleeps, her breath soft, while Lucius and Flavia recline, their whispers sharp. Livia's problem now is the guest's comfort. Flavia complains of the cold, her voice loud, and Lucius hints at leaving early. Losing their favor could sour Gaius's trade, and Saturnalia's glow would dim. Livia's heart races, but her smile holds. This is Rome. Hospitality is a public art, and every failure is seen. Picture the scene. The courtyard is quiet. The fountains trickle frozen. A slave stokes the brazier, its crackle sharp. Another carries garlands, their needles crunching. Livia rises, directing Titus to bring blankets, his steps quick despite the paint errand. She re-enters the triclinium, the air thick with wine and grease. Flavia's frown softens as Livia drapes a wool blanket over her voice warm with apologies. Lucius nods, but his questions about the villa's wealth persist. The lack of privacy is a caged slave's watch. Amelia lingers in the kitchen, even Claudia's sleepy eyes catch the moment. Livia could rush the feast's end, but that risks offense instead. She calls for a story, a Saturnalia tale of Saturn's golden age. Gaius claps, and a slave begins, his voice low and rhythmic. The guests listen, distracted, and Livia exhales. But Amelia reappears, serving wine, her eyes defiant. Livia assigns her to clear plates, keeping her busy. The scorched wall awaits. Paint and Titus's delay worries her. The villa's pulse is festive but fraying, and Livia's the thread. Neighbors peer through the gate, their voices a hum, and Livia ignores them. The triclinium's lamps flicker, the lyre hums softly. Let's linger here, in the courtyard's frosty hush, where Livia tends Saturnalia's heart. The brazier glow fades, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every comfort is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. The triclinium's glow softens, its lamps a fading constellation. Livia stands by a table. Aristola Christus slaves share a Saturnalia tale, their voices a low hum. The air is thick with wine, pine, and the faint sweetness of honey cakes. Gaius reclines, his eyes heavy, while Lucius listens, his smile thin. Flavia sips wine, wrapped in her blanket, but a new problem stirs. A slave named Sylvia, usually quiet, spills a jug of wine, soaking a cushion. The stain spreads, and Flavia gasps, her tone sharp. The mishap is small but public, a crack in the villa's festive sheen. Livia's heart skips but her face is calm. This is Rome every era as a spectacle, and Saturnalia's chaos amplifies it. Picture the scene, the triclinium pulses with story. The lyre's notes faint but steady. A slave mops the wine, the cloths scrub rhythmic. Another refills a jug, its clay clinking. Livia kneels, helping Sylvia, her voice soft but firm, urging care. Sylvia mumbles, her hands shaky, and Livia signals Marcia to replace the cushion. The lack of privacy is stark. Slaves watch. Lucius smirks, even Claudia stirs. Watching, Livia could scold Sylvia, but the festival forbids it. Instead, she offers Flavia more wine, her charm a shield, but the villa's pulse falters. Sylvia's spill stirs whispers, and Emilia's gaze from the kitchen is sharp. Livia moves to the courtyard, checking the brazier. Its embers glow, the air crisp with snow and smoke. Titus returns, paint in hand, and Livia directs him to the scorched wall. The fix is quick, but Flavia's complaint lingers, and Lucius's questions about the villa's upkeep grow pointed. Livia deflects, praising the tale's teller, her smile steady. The night deepens, and the slaves resume singing, their voices roar. Neighbors linger outside, their voices carrying news of the spill. Livia ignores them, her patience thinning. The villa is a stage, and she's its keeper, every choice seen. A flute hums, its melody soft but haunting. Let's linger here in the triclinium's flickering light, where Livia mends Saturnalia's flaws. The fountain's trickle is faint, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every mishap is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. The villa's night is a velvet shroud, its lamps barely holding the dark at bay. Livia moves through the triclinium, her stola heavy with damp, as slaves laugh, their dice game reignited. The air smells of wine, charred pine, and the faint musk of wool. Gaius dozes his toga loose, while Lucius rolls dice, his eyes sharp. Flavia reclines, her blanket tight, but a new crisis looms. A slave named Drusus, young and bold, slips out, whispering of joining friends at another villa's feast. His absence is noticed. Emilia mutters, and Flavia's ears prick. Livia's heart races, but her smile holds. This is Rome. Saturnalia's freedom tempts rebellion, and every act is public. Picture the scene. The triclinium hums with dice, the lyre's notes weaving through chatter. A slave pours wine, its splash soft. Another clears plates, the clink. Steady. Livia signals Titus to find Drusus, her voice low to avoid alarm. He nods, slipping out, but Emilia's gaze follows, her silence heavy. The lack of privacy is a chain slave's watch. Flavia whispers. Even Claudia's sleepy eyes catch the tension. Livia could ignore Drusus's flight, but that risks losing control. Instead, she calls for a song, distracting the guests. Marcia leads, her voice warm, and the slaves join, the mood lifting. But Lucius asks about Drusus, his tone sly, and Livia deflects, offering nuts. The courtyard's brazier glows, the air thick with snow and smoke. Neighbors linger, their voices a hum, and Livia feels the weight. Titus returns, Drusus in tow, his face flushed but defiant. Livia speaks softly, assigning him to serve, her authority subtle but firm. The villa's pulse steadies, but Emilia's whispers grow, and Flavia's gaze sharpens. The night is a tightrope, and Livia walks it, every step seen. A flute hums, its melody faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the triclinium's fading glow, where Livia tames Saturnalia's chaos. The fountain's trickle is faint, iced over, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every rebellion is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. The triclinium's lamps are embers now, their light a faint whisper. Livia stands by the fountain, her stola dusted with snow, as slaves share a final Saturnalia tale. The air is thick with wine, pine, and the faint char of the brazier. Gaius snores, his toga crumpled, while Lucius and Flavia recline, their eyes heavy. Claudia sleeps, her figurine clutched tight. Livia's problem is the feast's end. Guests linger, but the villa's stores are spent, and slaves grow restless. Emilia's defiance, Drusus's flight, and the night's mishaps have strained the festive mood. Livia's heart is heavy, but her face is calm. This is Rome. Saturnalia's joy is a public act, and its clothes must shine. Picture the scene. The triclinium hums with story, the lyre's notes fading. A slave clears cups, the clink soft, another sweeps, the broom's rhythm steady. Livia moves to the kitchen, checking the last cakes. Marcia nods, her hands tired but quick. The air is warm, smelling of honey and grease. Livia returns, offering Lucius a final fig. Her charm steady, he accepts, but his questions about the villa's slaves persist. The lack of privacy is a wait slave's watch. Amelia lingers, even the gods judge. Livia could rush the guests. Exit, but that risks offense. Instead she calls for a prayer, a Saturnalia rite to close the night. Gaius wakes, nodding, and the slaves kneel, their voices low. The moment calms, but Amelia's gaze is sharp, and Drusus's steps are slow. The courtyard's brazier fades, the air crisp with snow. Neighbors linger, their voices carrying tales of the feast. Livia ignores them, her patience thin. The villa's pulse is weary but alive, and she's its keeper. A flute hums, its melody faint but haunting. Let's linger here, in the triclinium's dying light, where Livia guides Saturnalia's end. The fountain's trickle is faint, and we're sinking deeper into Rome's festive trials, where every closure is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The villa wakes to a dawn cloaked in frost, its lamps cold and spent. Livia rises, her tunic simple, the air sharp with snow and charcoal. The courtyard is quiet, the fountains trickle slow, its rim iced. Slaves sweep garlands, their steps sluggish after Saturnalia's revels. Claudia stirs, clutching her figurine, her breath soft. Livia's task is to restore order. The feast's chaos left scattered trays, stained cushions, and simmering tensions. Amelia's defiance and Drusus's flight linger, but the villa's pulse must steady. She splashes her face with icy water, the shock grounding her, and moves to the triclinium. The air smells of wine and pine, the mosaic dull with crumbs. Livia directs slaves to clean, her voice calm but firm. This is Rome. Festivals fade, but duty endures. Every act seen. Picture the scene. The courtyard glows with pale light. The brazier's ashes gray. A slave polishes a lamp, its bronze dim. Another mends a cushion, the needle's rhythm hypnotic. Livia kneels, sorting trays, her hands quick. Amelia works nearby, her silence heavy, but she obeys. Livia praises her, a small bridge, and Amelia's nod is less cold. The lack of privacy is stark. Slaves watch, neighbors peer, even Claudia's waking eyes follow. Livia could dwell on the feast's flaws, but she focuses forward. She checks the storeroom, the jars, sparse but enough for now. The boar's success, the guests' stay, were victories, and Gaius is pleased. The villa's rhythm returns, and Livia's heart lifts. She moves to the kitchen, where Marcia kneads dough, her grin warm. The air smells of yeast and thyme, a quiet promise. Livia tastes a loaf, nodding, and the day unfolds. Neighbors call, their voices softer now, and Livia offers bread. The triclinium clears, its lamps refilled. A flute hums, its notes soft as dawn. Let's linger here, in the courtyard's frosty.com, where Livia rebuilds the villa's heart. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every task is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. The winter sun climbs, melting frost on the villa's tiles. Livia stands in the atrium, her cloak loose, checking a wax tablet of tasks. The air smells of damp wool and fresh snow, the brazier's embers a faint hum. Slaves repair garlands, their hands quick, while Claudia practices letters, her stylus scratching. The fountain's trickle strengthens, its ice thinning. Livia's focus is the slaves' morale. Saturnalia's freedom stirred boldness, and Amelia's resentment festers. Livia must bind them, or the villa's rhythm falters. She plans a small meal, using feast leftovers, to honor their work. The storeroom's scarcity limits her, but she's creative. Boar scraps, figs, and bread will suffice. This is Rome unity. It is woven in shared acts, every choice public. Picture the scene. The atrium glows, the mosaic's waves catching light. A slave polishes a jug, its bronze gleaming. Another weaves, the looms click steady. Livia moves to the kitchen, directing Marcia to prepare the meal. The air is warm, smelling of grease and herbs. Marcia nods, her hands quick, and Livia's gratitude is quiet but real. Amelia sees, her eyes less sharp, and Livia assigns her to lead the meal's setup. A gesture of trust. The lack of privacy is a hum. Slaves watch, neighbors linger, even Claudia notices. Livia could ignore Amelia's past defiance, but inclusion heals. The meal unfolds in the courtyard, slaves eating together, their laughter soft. Gaius approves, joining briefly, his presence a rare gift. The villa's pulse steadies, and Livia's heart lifts. Neighbors peer, their voices low, and Livia offers nothing. The day shifts, and she checks the storeroom, planning for winter. A flute hums, its notes soft as snowmelt. Let's linger here, in the atrium's quiet glow, where Livia mends the villa's spirit. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every meal is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. Snowflakes drift past the villa's walls, dusting the courtyard in white. Livia kneels by the fountain, clearing ice, her fingers numb but steady. The air smells of frost and charcoal, the braziers crackle a soft pulse. Slaves mend cushions, their needles flashing while Claudia paints a tablet, her tongue out in focus. The triclinium is clean, its lamps ready, and the villa's rhythm is calm. Livia's task as the vineyard Saturnalia's wine drained the stores, and winter pruning looms. A late frost could harm the vines, and Livia must act. She walks to the fields, her cloak catching snow, the air sharp with pine. The vines are bare, their bark rough under her palm. Titus joins, his knowledge key, and they mark branches to cut. This is Rome nature tests, and every choice is seen. Picture the scene. The vineyard is silent, the snow muffling steps. A slave carries tools, their metal clinking. Another burns clippings, the smoke curling. Livia directs, her voice low, and Titus nods, his hands quick. Amelia helps her work, steady, her defiance fading. The lack of privacy follows slaves watch. Neighbors peer from the road. Even Claudia trails, curious. Livia could rush the pruning, but care saves the harvest. The vines are spared and Livia's relief is quiet. Back at the villa, she checks the kitchen where Marcia roasts nuts, the scent warm. The air is cozy, the oven's heat a shield. Livia praises her, and the day unfolds. Neighbors call, their voices muffled, and Livia offers bread. The courtyard's brazier glows, its embers dancing. A flute hums, its notes soft as snow. Let's linger here, in the vineyard's frosty hush, where Livia guards the villa's future. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every cut is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us towards sleep. The villa's morning is a silver haze, snow blanketing the courtyard. Livia stands in the storeroom, her tunic dusted with frost, counting jars. The air smells of earth and stale wine, the cold biting her fingers. Slaves sweep the atrium, their brooms a soft rhythm, while Claudia sorts pine cones, her breath clouding. The fountain's trickle is steady, its ice gone. Livia's task is the loom Saturnalia's chaos, delayed repairs, and the villa's cloth is vital for trade. A broken shuttle slows the work, and Sylvia, the weaver, is frustrated. Livia must fix it, or the market suffers. She moves to the weaving shed, the air thick with wool's musk. The looms clack, their rhythm hypnotic. This is Rome craft binds the villa, and every delay is public. Picture the scene. The shed hums, the loom's threads taut. A slave oils a shuttle, its wood creaking. Another spins wool, the wheels hum steady. Livia kneels, inspecting the break, her hands quick. Sylvia watches, her frown easing as Livia suggests a fix. Amelia helps, her hands steady, her silence softer. The lack of privacy is a hum slave's watch. Neighbors peer, even Claudia lingers, curious. Livia could replace the shuttle, but coin is tight. Instead, she directs Titus to carve a new one, his skill trusted. The loom resumes, and Livia's relief is quiet. Back at the villa, she checks the kitchen, where Marcia bakes, the scent of bread warm. Livia praises her, and the day unfolds. Neighbors call, their voices low, and Livia offers nothing. The courtyard's brazier glows, its embers soft. A flute hums, its notes faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the shed's cozy hum, where Livia restores the villa's craft. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every repair is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The winter sun arcs low, painting the villa's walls in pale gold. Livia stands in the courtyard, her cloak loosed, directing slaves to store garlands. The air smells of pine and snow, the brazier's embers a faint crackle. The fountain's trickle is clear, its water catching light. Claudia sorts tablets, her fingers smudged with wax, while slaves polish lamps, their bronze gleaming. Livia's task is the accounts Saturnalia's costs must be recorded, and Gaius will scrutinize them. The wine, gifts, and boar stretched, the villa's coin, and Livia must balance the tablets. She moves to the tablinum, the air cool, smelling of ink and wax. The mosaic's waves shimmer, a quiet triumph. This is Rome numbers tell the villa's story, and every sum is public. Picture the scene. The tablinum is still, the tablets wax smooth. A slave lights a lamp, its flame steady, another sweeps. The broom's rhythm soft. Livia scratches figures, her stylus precise, noting the wine's loss, the boar's trade. Amelia passes, carrying jars, her nod warm. The lack of privacy is a hum slave's watch. Neighbors peer, even Claudia lingers, curious. Livia could hide the costs, but Gaius would know. Instead, she plans a market trip, trading cloth to recover coin. The numbers balance, and Livia's relief is quiet. Back at the courtyard, she checks the kitchen, where Marcia roasts leeks, the scent sharp. Livia praises her, and the day unfolds. Neighbors call, their voices muffled, and Livia offers bread. The brazier's glow softens, its embers dancing. A flute hums, its notes faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the tablinum's quiet glow, where Livia secures the villa's wealth. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every sum is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. Snow dusts the villa's courtyard, its tiles slick underfoot. Livia kneels by the lararium, offering spelt, her breath clouding in the dawn. The air smells of incense and frost. The braziers crackle a soft pulse. Slaves carry firewood, their steps crunching, while Claudia paints a tablet, her fingers smudged. The fountain's trickle is steady, its water clear. Livia's task is the garden. Winter herbs need tending, and rosemary thrives despite the cold. The villa's kitchen depends on it, and Livia's care ensures its strength. She moves to the garden, the air sharp with earth and mint. The herbs are green, their scent grounding. This is Rome. Nature feeds the villa, and every act is seen. Picture the scene. The garden is quiet, the snow muffling steps. A slave waters thyme, the jugs splash soft. Another prunes, the knives snip steady. Livia kneels, her hands quick, clearing frost. Amelia helps, her silence warm, her defiance gone. The lack of privacy is a hum. Slaves watch, neighbors peer, even Claudia follows, curious. Livia could rush the work, but care saves the herbs. The garden thrives, and Livia's relief is quiet. Back at the villa, she checks the kitchen, where Marcia bakes, the scent of bread warm. Livia praises her, and the day unfolds. Neighbors call, their voices low, and Livia offers nothing. The courtyard's brazier glows, its embers soft. A flute hums, its notes faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the garden's frosty hush, where Livia nurtures the villa's heart. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every plant is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The villa's noon is a soft glow, snow melting on the courtyard's tiles. Livia stands in the atrium, her tunic crisp, checking a slave's mended tunic. The air smells of wool and charcoal, the brazier's embers a faint hum. Slaves polish jugs, their bronze gleaming while Claudia sorts figurines, her laughter bright. The fountain's trickle is strong, its water sparkling. Livia's task is the stable. The donkey's hoof, bruised before Saturnalia, needs care, and winter travel looms. She moves to the stable, the air thick with hay and manure. The donkey munches straw, its eyes calm. This is Rome. Beasts bind, the villa, and every care is public. Picture the scene. The stable hums, the straw rustling. A slave brushes the donkey, the bristles soft. Another mends a harness, the leather creaking. Livia kneels, checking the hoof, her hands gentle. Titus helps, his skill steady, and Amelia carries water, her nod warm. The lack of privacy is a hum. Slaves watch, neighbors peer, even Claudia lingers, curious. Livia could ignore the hoof, but travel depends on it. The donkey heals, and Livia's relief is quiet. Back at the villa, she checks the kitchen, where Marcia roasts nuts, the scent warm. Livia praises her, and the day unfolds. Neighbors call, their voices muffled, and Livia offers bread. The brazier's glow softens, its embers dancing. A flute hums, its notes faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the stable's cozy hum, where Livia tends the villa's strength. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every care is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The winter dusk wraps the villa in a silver veil, its lamps flickering to life. Livia stands in the courtyard, her cloak tight, directing slaves to store pine cones. The air smells of snow and resin. The braziers crackle a soft pulse. The fountain's trickle is clear, its water catching lamplight. Claudia sorts tablets, her fingers smudged, while slaves sweep, their brooms a soft rhythm. Livia's task is the feast's legacy. Saturnalia's joy must linger, binding the villa through winter. She plans a small rite, offering wine to Saturn, to seal the festival's spirit. She moves to the lararium, the air heavy with incense. The gods' clay faces watch, their presence calm. This is Rome. Rituals tie the villa, and every act is seen. Picture the scene. The courtyard glows, the mosaic's waves shimmering. A slave lights a lamp, its flame steady. Another carries jars, the clay scraping. Livia pours wine, her voice low, praying for unity. Amelia joins, her silence warm, her defiance gone. The lack of privacy is a hum. Slaves watch, neighbors peer. Even Claudia kneels, curious. Livia could skip the rite, but it heals. The villa's pulse strengthens, and Livia's heart lifts. Back at the kitchen, Marcia bakes, the scent of bread warm. Livia praises her, and the day fades. Neighbors call, their voices low, and Livia offers nothing. The brazier's glow softens, its embers dancing. A flute hums, its notes faint but steady. Let's linger here, in the courtyard's quiet glow, where Livia seals Saturnalia's heart. The fountain sings, and we're drifting deeper into Rome's resolutions, where every prayer is a story, every sound a lullaby pulling us toward sleep. The villa sleeps under a canopy of stars, its lamps dimmed, the night vast and cold. Livia lies in the cubiculum, her tunic loose, the straw mattress creaking. The air smells of wool and faint incense, the curtain swaying. Claudia's breath is soft, her figurine tucked close. The fountain's trickle carries through the atrium, a whisper of the villa's life. Livia's mind is calm, Saturnalia's chaos woven into memory. The feast's triumphs bore wine. Unity shine against its trials. Amelia's defiance, Drusus's flight, the scorched wall. Each story, each task, built the villa's winter heart, a Rome without privacy or Wi-Fi, yet rich with shared life. Picture the villa now, its walls silver in the moonlight, snow dusting the tiles. The brazier's ashes are cold, but their smoky trace lingers. A slave dozes by the stable, his cloak tight, the gods watch from the lararium, their clay eternal. This is Rome, not the glory of forums, but the quiet of daily care. Livia's days, her garlands, her feasts, her prayers mirror the empire's pulse, a tapestry of frost and fire. These stories calm, their sensory threads pine sting, wine's warmth, the lyres hum lulling us to sleep. The villa's rhythm is a gift, a lullaby of shared burdens and joys. Let's linger here, in the night's embrace, imagining the hills, their vines cloaked in snow. A distant owl calls, its note soft but clear. The air is still, the stars steady. These tales of Livia, of a villa alive with winter's breath, are history's whisper, soothing the mind. The lamps are out, but the villa's heart glows. And before sleep claims you, subscribe to the channel. Without that step, you might miss Rome's next tale. The whispers that calm the night, pictura fresco, its colors fading into dreams. The fountain sings, a final note, a breeze stirs the snow, and we're sinking into Rome's calm, where every story is a lullaby, every sound a gentle pull toward sleep's eternal tide.